Good evening, everybody. You are watching America First. My name is Nicholas J. Fuentes. I am joining you tonight under some very dark circumstances. Normally, I like to say we got a great show for you tonight, and I think it's going to be an excellent show, but of course, the news is unbelievably tragic. Tonight, as you know, you're all gathered here. We're going to talk tonight about the death of Charlie Kirk. And even saying that out loud, the words are still very surreal and disturbing. I said this last night and I meant it as I watched the chaos and the tragedy unfold yesterday afternoon. And I know everybody else feels exactly the same way. It didn't feel real. That's the characterization I keep seeing from everybody on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter. People have been profoundly affected by this, and we're not sure why. And hopefully we can talk a little bit about maybe why that is. But as I said yesterday, like many of you, I got the alert from a friend of mine who I believe was either at the event or had friends at the event at UVU in Utah. A friend of mine texted me and said, Charlie has been shot. I said, Charlie Kirk? They said, yes. And we watched it unfold live. We're still getting updates. We don't know exactly what transpired. And again, we'll get into some of that as well, some of the uncertainties and unanswered questions. But I am devastated and legitimately affected and struck viscerally. Such a sensational video, images, such an unspeakable, horrible tragedy. And I literally had to take a day to collect myself. Normally, this is a current events show. I'm live every night and I discuss the news of the day. And I've been there through many of the big developments over the years. Same day, January 6th, Trump assassination attempt, the elections, the pandemic. But this one was different. And I think everybody feels that way about it. It felt like a nightmare. That's the only way that I can accurately describe it, actually. Throughout the entire day yesterday, I just could not process it. It did not sink in. It still hasn't fully sunk in. Like I said earlier, you say those words, the death of Charlie Kirk, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, the murder of Charlie Kirk. I watched his Wikipedia page go from Charlie Kirk is to Charlie Kirk was. It doesn't feel real. It feels like a nightmare that we'll never wake up from. And I say that as somebody who was not even a fan, not a friend, and actually an adversary, a foe. I can only imagine what his friends, his colleagues, and especially his wife, his young children, you can only imagine what they're going through. And so what happened yesterday is still so raw and so sensitive. The country is profoundly affected, at least some of it is. We'll talk about that too. And so tonight I'm going to try to the best of my ability, carry out my responsibility. I believe, and I think you know, that I'm somebody that many of the young people, young conservatives are looking up to. I have a lot of credibility with the far right, the radical right. And throughout his career, Charlie Kirk always characterized me as a troll. I don't say that with any malice at this point in time, but that's what he said. And many in Turning Point USA said that I and my followers are nihilistic. We only want destruction. And I think that I have an obligation to the country. I think I have an obligation to God. I think I have an obligation to all of you. I think I have responsibility to prove that that is not true. It's not about me, but now that it is the morning after, the day has dawned where Charlie Kirk is now dead at the hands of some unknown attacker. It is our responsibility, mine and all of ours, to step up and to get serious. To the extent that politics was fun or we took it lightly, I think we now realize it just got very real. It's been real. People talk about a civil war. They say a war is coming. Some say we're already in one. We have an obligation now. The leaders, the spokesmen, the men, the young men, the elderly men, we have an obligation to lead. And I want to start, before we get into any of it, by saying this, just as a general note. I've been around now for 7 or 8 years. That's not a very long time, but it's long enough. I've lived through a lot of these events, Charlottesville, January 6th, the Groyper War, many things. And I know that in my career, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've done things I regret, said things I regret. I've made a lot of the same mistakes twice. And I've been lucky because I've lived and I have this platform and I'm able to speak to all of you in spite of that. And I think maybe one of the reasons why is because I have been afforded the opportunity to learn a lot. Having been in the center of dissident right-wing politics, far-right politics, in the center of this cultural moment, whatever you want to call that, as an archetypal disaffected young white man, angry young white man, Trump supporter, however you want to characterize that. I have been in the thick of it for a very long time. And seeing many crises and tragedies and things that we cannot explain, things that are difficult to cope with. I will say first, as I said, as a general note before we move on, it cannot be overstated how important it is in a time like this to put our intentions in alignment with the will of God. Everybody's very emotional. Everybody is whipped up, and rightfully so, justifiably so. People are furious. I don't know that the left fully understands that. I don't know that normies fully understand that. People are absolutely beside themselves. I've never seen the right wing more angry, more furious, and this has been building. Here we are today, the day after Charlie Kirk has been killed, but we're starting here in the middle of the story. It's been going on for over a decade, and these things compound over time, and they accumulate. And I, like everybody else, recognize that this could potentially be a watershed moment. This is a ripple effect. We may look back in time and see a chain reaction, an inexorable chain reaction that leads to nothing other than destruction, devastation, bloodshed, misery. I don't think it's crazy to say millions of dead bodies. And we must have the prudence. We must have the confidence in our convictions, in our faith in God. This is the test. It's easy to believe in prayer when things are easy. It's easy to believe in God, mercy, forgiveness, temperance when things are easy. It's when things are hard, when they're confusing, when we feel justifiably angry, wrathful, prideful. That's the test. That's when it counts. And that is when mature people, and I recognize the folly in me saying that. I don't consider myself an extremely mature person. I think I'm a frivolous person in many ways. But it's an obligation for all of us to grow up now and recognize the gravity of the situation we're in, the peril that we're all in. And we have to ask ourselves, what are our intentions? We have to set them intentionally. We have to set them in alignment with God, with the gospel. We have to think not just about the present moment and what we're feeling, but about the long term, the good of our country, the good of our fellow countrymen, both the people we agree with and disagree with, our children, our progeny. And we have to think about that moment before God. We have to think about our moment before God in judgment. And we're asked about that golden rule. We don't save ourselves. We approach God with humility. We approach the judgment as weak, as mortal, fallen. Before we take up arms, before we relish in our anger, and sit with it, sit with our rage and resentment and fuel it and get into these loops, feedback loops. I think it is so important. And this is why I said last night I wasn't going to do a show, and I really meant it. I think everybody needed one night at least to sleep on this, to pray, and to pray not just for the repose of Charlie Kirk's soul and for his wife and for his 2 young children and for the people affected in his organization and for the people that were closest to him, but also to pray for the wisdom, the strength, the prudence, the humility, the fortitude to approach this in the right way. Because how we respond to this tragedy, like all of these events, like all of the persecution, all of the suffering, the anguish, it will define us. It will define our country. It is life or death here. And what I am urging at the very outset of this, at the minimum, is caution. Let us not be hasty. If you're thinking of picking up arms, put them down. And if you can't be convinced altogether, put them down today. Put them down tomorrow. Let us be cautious. Let us be prudent. Let's think. Let's get right. Let's get right with God before we act hastily. And the reason I say that I have come to this reaction over many years, seeing many crises, is because not only is there a spiritual dimension to all of this, and the devil uses our emotions against us, uses our best intentions, our best inclinations against us to doubt our faith in God, that God is both just and merciful, our faith in God, that he will deliver the vengeance that we are told is not in our hands, trust in his plan and not create our own. It's not just for the spiritual reasons, but also for the political reasons. Ask yourself, we all recognize this is a watershed moment. We're never going back from this. This is the shot heard around the world, literally. One shot, one kill, an international incident, and a outpouring of both love and affection in the vigils that you see for Charlie Kirk across the country, but also in anger and resentment, hatred, people ridiculing his death, all of these different things. It's important also to understand that politically, it is in crises like these when we become instrumentalized by forces outside of our control. When we take our eye off the ball, and I don't want to be too explicit at this moment now, but when we take our eye off the ball because of something so sensational, because of something so emotionally charged, that's why they do these things. That's why supernatural as well as societal forces do these things or capitalize them and take advantage of them. And people, guided perhaps by good intentions or righteous indignation, become unwitting instruments of forces beyond their control, beyond their understanding. They become pawns in a larger game. And so, in order for us not to be agents of evil, a supernatural evil, a worldly evil, in order for us not to be instrumentalized by sophisticated and powerful forces that would use this tragedy to manipulate society for its own ends, in order to save our souls from the kind of wrath, anger, vengefulness that will surely land us a seat in hell, I would first say, before I say anything else, especially to the young people, the adolescents, that I understand how you feel, lay down your arms. Those that live by the sword will perish by the sword. Remember what Christ said. This is our cup to drink from, all of us. Death, suffering, martyrdom in some cases. It's all part of it. It's all part of life. And not to be fatalistic and not to minimize it, but as a Christian, we can't always talk about the prosperity gospel. We can't always talk about making money or prosperity and kumbaya. We also have to talk about the other side of things, which is that We have a Lord and Savior that was crucified on the cross by our sins, by our own iniquities, all of us. And not just the killers and the scoundrels, and not just the obviously evil people, but also sometimes ourselves. Assuredly, everybody, you and I, everybody. So we have to take those things into consideration. We have to be humble about these things. And so that's just a word of caution. That's me trying to do my best to be responsible here before we get into the larger subject. So we'll talk about it now. As you know, Charlie Kirk was assassinated yesterday afternoon doing one of his Change My Mind events, his college tour. It was one of the first stops on his new college tour in Utah. Started out like any other day. And I'm sure for him it was just another day. He's done this hundreds of times. He got dressed, he went to the event, talked it up with politicians and friends of his, said this is going to be a great event, filmed TikToks, and all of a sudden a shot rang out. He died, I assume, instantly, although some of the details are uncertain. People fled. He's now gone. And the first thing I want to say about it after the word of caution is this. Of course, as I said, I was not a friend of Charlie Kirk's at all. I didn't like him. He didn't like me. We had a lot of differences, ideologically, politically, and we fought viciously. He did a lot to stifle my career and suppressed me in many ways, and I antagonized him a lot and mocked him and ridiculed him and attacked his credibility. He was my opponent, but I would never wish death upon him or anything like that. And Charlie Kirk never had a kind word to say about me in his life. Now that he has died, I'll say some kind words about him. Although I didn't agree with him, I considered him a part of the political establishment. In many ways, I considered him part of the problem. In spite of that, it is undeniable that he was a towering figure in American conservatism. It's undeniable. He was ambitious. He was a hard worker. He did things I cannot do. A lot of people said after his passing, I saw some people make oblique references to it. They said, well, if Charlie Kirk was assassinated, now the far right will step up. I don't know that there's anyone that could fill his shoes. I don't know that there's anyone that can do what he did. He died at 31 years old and left a legacy that many people could not achieve in many lifetimes. He hosted a show 3 hours a day. He went and faced down his enemies in debate. He would take on almost any challengers. I say almost because he wouldn't debate me, of course, but nevertheless, would debate anybody, anywhere, stare them down, and people don't know how difficult that is. He would sit there for hours on any subject, and then he would return home from the command center and direct the largest youth organization, the most ambitious project in conservative politics maybe ever. And he did it all before the age of 31. An absolutely brilliant, sharp, fierce warrior for his values and his beliefs. And as I said, I disagreed with them strongly. I'll make no bones about that, and that hasn't changed. But you have to admire that this was a fighter, this was a worker, this was a champion, and above all else, maybe this is what I respected about him the most. We had our disagreements. Where we did agree is that he would go to these college campuses and proclaim the name of Jesus Christ. And ultimately, that is why he was killed. Everyone will be persecuted for the sake of Jesus Christ. Anyone, everyone, fighting and winning that spiritual battle for Christ and for his kingdom will be persecuted for his sake. And I don't believe Charlie Kirk was any different. We disagreed on much, but we agreed about abortion. We agreed about feminism. We agreed about many of the other moral, social ills of the country. And when you look at his most vicious detractors, the people celebrating his death now, possibly, probably, the gunmen that killed him They hated him because of his defense of Christian morality. He wasn't killed necessarily, perhaps, by a socialist or by someone who disagreed about his position on fiscal policy. And this is something I think we all need to take into account, something we need to be aware of and notice. The most vicious, hateful opponents of the conservative movement of all stripes, they are the ones championing transgenderism, which goes by another name, mutilation of the body, a disordering of the soul. It's the proponents of abortion, which is some form of child sacrifice, at the minimum, infanticide. These are the most vicious, violent, hateful detractors of even a moderate conservative like Charlie Kirk because he stood up for those biblical values. I'll say it better, Christian values, Christian morality, for Christ himself, for the truth incarnate. And for that, I consider him a true martyr. And I hope his reward is in heaven. I'll also say he was clearly a loving father, a loving husband. He was beloved by millions of people. That is obvious. And although I do not count myself among his fans, it was clear that millions upon millions of decent, earnest, good people, Christians, patriots, they did love him. And he belongs to them. And out of respect for them, I say that Charlie Kirk was a good man. God bless him. And despite our differences, our past debates, I consider that over. And I pray for the repose of his soul, for his family, for him. That's Charlie Kirk. Now, aside from that, it's important to say that it's obviously a horrific thing. And I think that what is so striking about it is because it became so real in that moment. It was such a graphic video. This is somebody that we felt like we all knew. I never met him. I never shook his hand. I never spoke with him. I saw him, and I've been at arm's length with him before, but I never knew him. But to us, he was imminent. He was ubiquitous. He was all over TikTok, making content. He was synonymous with campus conservatism. And like many personalities, politicians, the kind of medium that he used, social media, live streaming, we all developed a parasocial relationship with him. And whether we loved him or we hated him, he was known to us. And other people that we know die, but they die in hospitals or they die when we're not looking. He was publicly executed, suddenly, unexpectedly, in front of millions of people on camera. And we saw in graphic detail his life end that way. I think that's why this is having such a profound effect on people. And the reason that it has shaken everybody to their core, and in some ways unconscionably has become divisive somehow, is because there are a lot of decent people still left in this country. And maybe they're right wing and maybe they're left wing and maybe they voted for Trump and maybe they didn't. But in that moment, when they saw this young man, this young father, this young husband, a good man, a congenial, by every metric, a positive, cheerful person, a generative person, someone who loved America, fought for what he believed in, a disciplined person, did not indulge in vices, a family man, to see someone like this gunned down in cold blood in such a cowardly act from such a distance like that. In that moment, what was confusing before about our country, what was divisive before, where there was moral confusion or obfuscation, there was clarity. And I don't care who you voted for. I don't care what your politics are. People, white and black, men and women, feminists, conservatives, people that are straight, people that are gay. I saw across Instagram, TikTok, a good deal of people, I hope the majority in this country, were shaken to their core because they saw true evil. When the assassin's bullet cracked and the shot rang out and people saw this young, good man die for no good reason, someone knowable to us, Every decent person that still has a conscience, and I choose to use that word, everyone with a conscience was able to say clearly, that is evil, that is wrong. It is wrong to violate the sanctity of life in that way. Our lives are not our own. We belong to each other. We belong to God. We did not create ourselves. We belong to our Creator. To see another human being, I don't care what they've said in the past. I don't care what their opinions are. To see someone summarily executed in such a brutal way like that, there was a moment of clarity where people saw, and this is an all too familiar sight, people saw evil, and it shocked them to their core. People saw true evil, weakness, cowardice, violence, hatred, taking away someone who loved and was loved for no reason, unjustly. And people reacted with sorrow, outrage, anger, made people sick. It shook people up because we were born with a moral law written on our hearts. It's not just written in the Gospels. It's not just written in the lives of the saints. It's also written on our hearts. We know right from wrong. We know it when we see it. We feel it. We feel it on a deeper level. It makes us physiologically sick to see it. I think that's why it had such a profound impact. And the reason that it has people so shaken up, another reason, as I said before, is because this is the middle of a very long story. As we all know, this did not come out of nowhere. There were many events that precipitated this. We can talk about the attempted assassination of Donald Trump last year when he was shot in the ear, and his display of strength, of courage, in the face of a cowardly attack, inspired millions of people, billions of people around the world. They saw that little twerp, that coward that climbed up on the roof and took a shot. And they saw Trump in that moment who had nothing on his mind other than that he needed to reassure his people, show them he was not defeated or deterred. He rose up and raised his fist, rallied the people to the side of strength, of goodness, of righteousness. He survived by the grace of God. We saw it when Luigi Mangione gunned down the healthcare CEO months later. And like the attack on Charlie Kirk yesterday, the attack by Luigi Mangione was another chain reaction. In that moment, we saw a young man kill a father, a husband, another innocent. Once again, people say he worked for some company, he worked for an evil industry. Shot in cold blood, no trial, no charge. His life was not Luigi Mangione's to take. And for some reason, this divided the country. There were millions of people that said he was a hero, treated him like a sex icon, a champion. They made t-shirts. They celebrated. Is anybody surprised now that you have incidents like this? Is anybody the least bit surprised? In a culture where mass murder and murder is celebrated, people cheer it on, they lionize cowardly assassins and killers. Is anybody the least bit surprised that it inspired a copycat? It inspired another? It shouldn't come as a surprise. But there's other echoes of the violence that we saw yesterday. We saw it imminently just the other week when that young girl, the Ukrainian refugee, was stabbed to death on the train. We saw it when Austin Metcalf was stabbed in the throat at a football practice. We see it in Gaza for years when innocent people are shot in the back of the head getting food for their children because they're starving. The weight of the suffering, the cruelty, the malice, the hatred, it's becoming too much to bear. I think that's the real reason. because we've seen violence before. We've seen horrible atrocities before. We've seen school shootings, terrorist attacks. But we all recognize we live in a time of nihilistic violence. And it's coming from all sides. Nihilistic violence perpetrated by barbarians, like these opportunists and predators, these young, mostly adolescent black men that are preying upon the innocent and the vulnerable on city subways, city streets. We see it in the barbarism, the predatory, opportunistic attacks, executions, random, cruel acts of violence. We see it in Zionism. Dare I say, in a certain strain of the Jewish religion, which says that the people of Palestine are collectively responsible for the actions of Hamas. None of them are innocent. They all must die. And sitting members of Congress like Randy Fine celebrates famine, starving women and children. 1 million people under the age of 18 being blown to smithereens, being starved forcibly. We see it in another form, which is leftism. Communists, anarchists. There is a certain strain of radical transsexuals. For them, everything is political. Everything is ideological. All this propaganda that's got them whipped up about fascism, a trans genocide, about the healthcare system. They believe the meaning of life is a political struggle, a political victory. And so they have no love, no charity towards their opponents. These are the different strains of nihilistic violence coming from all angles that we've seen. And notice it comes from everywhere. It comes from the political left. And by the political left, I don't mean every Democrat. I don't mean every liberal. I don't mean every Kamala voter. I mean a specific sect of the radical left that recognizes no limiting principles. We see that kind of nihilistic violence from a certain crowd of Jewish Zionists and their allies. Some evangelical Christians, atheistic Jews that are sympathetic, that wield immense influence in our government, and they want to wield our military against their adversaries. And we see it in the barbarians. We see it in the unthinking, primitive, backwards, regressive, you could say, undeveloped masses of people in other unenlightened parts of the world that are coming here and visiting the savagery upon us. And if there is anything that can come out of this, I hope that it can be potentially a new consensus. This is not partisan, actually. It's not even ideological. People do not murder children in a Catholic church because they have gender dysphoria necessarily, or they're sympathetic to transsexuals. Somebody does not murder Charlie Kirk because they voted for Kamala Harris. People do not stab young girls on trains because they're born black. People do not shoot Palestinians in the back of the head or cheer it on just because they're Jewish. The people that do this are lost. They have to be isolated and segregated out. A new consensus must emerge. Are you in favor of a society with meaning? A society where life is sacred, where life has sanctity, where people's lives and their dignity and their integrity is respected? Or are we going to live in a society that is a never-ending war between nihilistic tribes, warlords, savages, pagans? I see an emerging consensus, and I think that the mature people that actually love America, actually love our children, the people that recognize the division, the peril that we're in, we need to fortify a new consensus and rally the people of conscience, the people of decency, the people of humanity, the people of charity towards their fellow man, against those that want to kill us, against those that laugh and celebrate when innocent people are harmed. For any reason, for any ideological reason, against the people that are cruel, the people that are hateful. And by that, I mean the people that are really cruel, not the people that say things you disagree with, not the people that are provocative, not the people that are sometimes angry, but the people that are really cruel and really evil. And let me be clear about this, because I understand not a lot of people are loving this message right now. This is not the message that a lot of people want to hear right now. Here's another message you can try on for size. These people that are now selling t-shirts with Charlie Kirk and a bullet wound in his neck, they cannot be negotiated with. You cannot debate with them. You cannot persuade them to vote Republican. You cannot appeal to them. You will never convince them that you're a good person, that you just want the best for everybody. You will never get them to stop hating you. People like to say, well, can the left finally admit that they have their own problem? They'll never admit that. They'll never admit that. These craven losers, that person that when Charlie Kirk got shot in the neck, instinctually got up and turned and celebrated, they have to be defeated. We can't change their minds. We can't invite them to change our minds. We can't negotiate with them. We can't invite them for a political compromise. If your gut reaction to seeing someone take a bullet in the neck and their face explode, and their young children run up to them because they were afraid of the noise, if your reaction was to grin and celebrate, you must be defeated. You must be destroyed. You must be identified, you must be isolated, and you must be eradicated from our society. Not Democrats, not leftists, not liberals, those people that would celebrate in that moment. That is pure evil, pure malice. There is no charity in a person's heart. I don't care who it is, who sees anybody get their neck exploded and celebrate like that. That's the kind of evil we're dealing with. That's the kind of evil that has taken over our society. It has become too common. People have let it fester. Like with Luigi Mangione, they thought it was cute. They thought it was glib. And look at what we have now. We are on the verge of full-on political violence and civil war. I don't think people realize what that looks like. There's going to be a lot of children without mothers and fathers, a lot of mothers and fathers grieving their dead children. I don't want that. Nobody should want that. But when it comes to evil people, cowardly, weak, evil people that snipe at Trump, at Charlie Kirk, like the gunman that came to my house last year. Unfortunately, it's not always up to us which battles we fight. When they show up to your front door, when they take shots at the rally, at the Change My Mind, we don't have a choice. We have to confront evil. We have to fight evil. We can never give in to evil, and we have to win. Recognize this. If these people ever get power over us, these people that celebrate, they sell t-shirts, they steal hats when a man is lying dead, they will hurt you. They will hurt your children, and they will destroy everything that is sacred to us, everything that we love, and they will do it with a smile. They're already doing it. They have done it. They're telling on themselves. And Sam Hyde said it very well. All their cutesy language, their word games, their sarcasm, their irony, it is dripping with malevolence, dripping with contempt, dripping with malevolence and malice. And if these people ever win, we will all suffer the same fate as Charlie Kirk. They have to be defeated utterly and fundamentally. Now, this is not a call to violence, because taking up arms against these people, what will that do? It will invite more of it. The Satanists, the devil worshipers, the malevolent people that do these things, in part, they do it to stoke resentment, to stoke conflict. They take the things that we love away from us so that we will abandon God, so that we will become like them. That is, whether they know it or not, that is why they do it. That is why they are impelled to do it by spiritual, supernatural forces. I believe that. Do not mistake what I mean by defeat them. And we'll talk about that more in a moment. But I want to make that clear right now. This is not a call for violence. Here is what I will say about left-wingers, because a lot of left-wing people reached out to me and they told me, you have a responsibility. They said, we're afraid right now. They said, you need to lead people away from violence. I agree with them. But where was that mentality when someone showed up at my house with a gun and failed? Those people are not reaching out then. Where was that mentality throughout all of the persecutions, all the suffering? Now, this is speaking from a place of resentment. They're afraid. They're afraid that the right is going to punch back 1,000 times as hard, and we could, and we can. And I fear that some might, and I hope to God that they don't. In some sense, the right to be afraid, we should all be afraid that something we cannot control may happen. Here is what I will say to those people. I and Charlie Kirk for years pushed a peaceful resolution. We invited the left to debate, negotiate. We played within the system. When Obama told us, you got to win elections, we tried that. And look at what they did to Trump. They shot him in the fucking head. We tried to do it your way. We tried to debate, to go to the polls, the voting booth. People ran for office. And what did they encounter? Intimidation, menacing, harassment, slander, lies, assassination attempts, and successes. Now the left says we need to bring down the temperature. Here is what I would say to the left. The left now has an obligation. You can turn down the temperature. The left in America now, everybody in America now must come together and disavow this nihilistic, malevolent violence. You all have an obligation. I have that obligation, and I think I have done it. I condemn the violence, all of it, all of the nihilistic violence, whether it comes from the far right, the far left, whether it comes from a Dylan Roof, the Buffalo shooter, or someone like this. It's your job too. You must condemn it loudly, loud enough that we can hear it, and you have to mean it. And I think of somebody like Hassan Piker, such a hollow, empty, sad person. Hassan Piker saw Charlie Kirk, someone that he knew, get shot in the neck and his neck erupt with blood. We don't need to be graphic about the details, but everybody should look at that long and hard and let it sit with you. When Hassan saw that, his first reaction was to make a glib remark about gun control. Seriously? That's a 31-year-old man. That's a young man with a wife and kids. He got shot in cold blood, publicly executed in front of thousands of college students. Never forget the trauma of his children, of his family. What about the people that witnessed this? What about everybody that will be affected by the knock-on violence that results from this? And you hollow, sick person, your response is to make some glib remark about gun control? Fuck you. Fuck you. And here's my message to Hasan Piker and every liberal cocksucker like him. You better disavow this violence. You better cry like Dean Withers. And I don't say that, maybe that comes off like I'm humiliating him. Who knows whether that was sincere or not? I hope to God that it was. And if it was, you know what? Good on him. That's a good kid. And he said some nasty things about me. That's a kid with a conscience. He said, I don't think we should kill people for disagreeing. Is that divisive now? He had to apologize for weeping that someone he knew was murdered. That kid has a conscience. I have some faith in that generation. Here's my message to Hasan and all these smug, glib liberals like that. If you cannot, if you will not disavow this violence, we will have no choice but to consider you as no different than the killers. That's complicity. You could be forgiven up until this point for being irresponsible. We all get heated. We all do it. I'm guilty of it too. It makes hypocrites of all of us. We murder each other with our words all the time, with our gossip, our slander. We overreact. We say things we don't mean. We get angry. We harbor grudges and resentment, things that we should not. And that's not to excuse it. But the day that someone gets shot for the disagreement, if you can't bring yourself to show the slightest ounce of humanity to a moderate Republican who got killed for no reason, this is a moment we all recognize could set us down the path towards a civil war, could set us down the path towards unbelievable horror, suffering, bloodshed. If you can't bring yourself, even for the selfish sake of yourself or your own people or your own pathetic side, to show the slightest ounce of humility, of mercy, of magnanimity, benevolence, charity, then you are no better than the killer. And that means that you must be destroyed politically as well. That's not a call to violence. But people like that have to be suppressed. They should be censored on the internet. They need to be named and shamed. And this is where I say, what does victory look like? Here's what it looks like in the short term. This is a very delicate situation. This is a very delicate situation. I fear that this has set off a chain reaction. I pray to God there is no further violence. I pray to God that nobody else is hurt as a result of this. I hope that it stops here. It should stop here. To all of my followers, if you take up arms, I disavow you, I disown you in the strongest possible terms. That is not what we are about. And the same goes obviously for the other side. And I want to make that very clear. It would be a profound, moral, political mistake for anybody to take the bait and to engage in any kind of reprisal, retaliation, revenge. Remember, we are the good side. And what makes us good is that we have Christ. What makes Christianity and Christ so different from the other religions is that our religion is based on the bearing of suffering for the sake of even those that persecute us. An overflowing of love, an overflowing of self-giving love, so much of it cannot be contained. An unconditional, absolute standard of love for all of God's children, even those that are misguided, even those that persecute us, even the most heinous among us. That is what makes us different. That is what makes us good. You think you're good? You're not. You are not good. I am not good. You are a man. I am a man. You are a sinner. I am a sinner. We cannot save ourselves. We cannot save this world. God can save us. God can save the world. And God saves us and God saves the world by drawing all of us up onto the cross with him. And we join not just in his glory, but in his suffering. Real suffering, not imaginary, not a nice story, real suffering, real death, real destruction, real misery. We bear a cross like Christ bears a cross, like his disciples, like the martyrs, like the saints bear a cross. And you better get comfortable up there. Drink up. And you bear that cross not for your kin, not for yourself, not for your children, which are an extension of yourself. You bear that cross and that suffering. You drink from that chalice for your enemies, for those that persecute you, for those that hate you, for the sake of Christ. That doesn't mean we let them hurt us. It doesn't mean we let them take over our country. But it does mean that we do not lower ourselves to their level. It does mean that we do not resort to our own powers, our own machinations, our own plans, our own pride, with vengeance, with retaliation. Vengeance belongs to God. God is both merciful and just. And no one can say they have faith in God if they do not have faith in God's perfect justice, which we cannot understand, which is hard to accept, sometimes impossible. But that's what it is to be a Christian. That's what it was like to be the first Christians, to watch God himself nailed to a cross for the sake of everyone. You cannot tell me you have faith in God if you don't have faith that all of those people that seek to hurt us will ultimately meet their divinely appointed justice at God's hands, but not our own. Those lives are not ours to take. Now, in the meantime, how do we defeat these people so that they cannot hurt us? We have a right to exist. We have a right to defend ourselves. And this is going to be a consistent theme here. The first thing that we need to do, and everybody needs to be on the same page here, right, left, middle, I am calling on everybody. Today we are all Americans. Today we are all Christians in that we want the cycle of retributive vengeance and violence to stop. In that sense, today, we are all Christians, whether culturally, religiously, we are all Americans. We all want to see our country pull through. We all want to see our loved ones survive. Liberal or conservative, we all want to be around for the next Christmas. We all want to see our children graduate college in the spring. I'm calling on everybody. We all have a place in this. Everybody must condemn this violence. You don't need to condemn Kamala Harris. You don't need to condemn liberalism. You don't need to condemn whatever issue it is. You must condemn the violence at the minimum. The nihilistic violence has to stop. And today I would stand like any other day, shoulder to shoulder with any one of my enemies, any one of them. Anybody that ordinarily they would think I would find them disgusting. You know, somebody who I least expected. I'm not even going to say who it is. You would not believe. Somebody hits me up and says, I'm the exact kind of person you would absolutely hate. I don't hate anybody. But that person, all these people have to be joined up for the sake of America, for the sake of humanity, and say we disavow the nihilistic violence. It is intolerable in our society. It must be absolutely suppressed, suffocated. It has to be snuffed out. The light has to defeat the darkness the day after this death. The left, the right, everybody must say, this has to stop. It should be an easy bar to clear. And for those that don't, I think I speak for everybody when I say, for the people that are interrupting the vigils for the young man who was killed and yelling, fuck Charlie Kirk, for the people that are selling t-shirts, mocking his execution, for the people that are saying he deserved it for some such other reason, these people must be ostracized from our society. We must identify them. We must have them fired from their jobs. They must be censored on social media. There must be a cost. Because if there isn't, this will continue. If there isn't, their ridicule, their provocations, their antagonism, it will provoke more violence. It will spawn, it will generate more violence. Copycats. Those people must be named. They must be shamed publicly. They must be penalized. Don't hurt them. Don't give them the satisfaction. Don't make them martyrs. Don't stoop to their level. But that guy who laughed when Charlie Kirk was shot, this guy needs to answer for why he did that. This guy should not be able to find a living. This guy should not be able to find harbor. Let him crawl on his belly across this country, finding no refuge. Because people that are complicit in evil like that do not belong in a decent society. That black individual that jumped over the fence and started stealing MAGA hats while Charlie Kirk was dead in an ambulance or in an SUV, that guy needs to be named and shamed too. Is nothing sacred? Does anything matter? Is there any humanity? How dare you? How dare you? We will not, cannot live in a society with people like that. Somebody like that needs to be named and shamed. They must hang their head in shame until there is some repentance on their side. Fortunately, our religion believes in forgiveness. But there must be a penance here. You have to say you're sorry. You have to be penalized in some way. This cannot go unanswered anymore. That's what happened when Luigi Mangione killed that guy. That's what happened when Trump got shot and everybody made fun of it. How many more times does it have to happen? Everybody is accountable to say this does not have a place in our society, and we must shame the people that think this is okay. This is not okay. And if you think it is, what kind of society are we going to live in? Is that how we solve our problems? We kill each other? Well, but Charlie Kirk said this. Okay, well, we disagree with you. Should we go and shoot you in your house? And what is our country going to become? Who's going to run our country? The toughest warlord? Where do you think that goes? This is how you solve problems? You get a gun like a coward and sneak up behind someone and shoot him in the head? And then what? They don't like you, so they're going to do it to you and you do it back? And pretty soon we have a country that's run by warlords. We have rule by the most brutal, the most cruel, the most malevolent. Nobody wins in a society like that. After millions of corpses are stacked up, we will be ruled by the most brutal tyrant you could ever imagine. Is that the kind of society you want to live in? That's where this is headed. Obviously. And in some sense, the left is right to be scared because the right is more proficient in violence. The left is more willing, the right is more capable. What do you think happens in a civil war? You already see the cruelty of some people on the right. You know, I'm sure there are people on the left that are saying, is this really what the left needs? Is another transsexual or pro-liberal someone bringing down heat on all of them? Oh, good luck. You know, it's like the Dark Knight. You're telling me that Donald Trump is a billionaire who's also secretly a fascist, racist, empowered by Palantir and AI surveillance. and your job is to dare that administration to create tyranny. You know, and not to sound glib or whatever, but this is what we're talking about. So there must be a new consensus that this kind of inhuman, uncharitable, hateful nihilism, it has to be the scourge of our society. We have to do our part to drive it out. And you know what the best way to do that is, other than the obvious, which I already see people doing, and you know what? Good. I see people getting these people fired. I see people holding these people accountable, and good on them. Our strongest weapon is to shine. Our strongest weapon, if you, as I said, really believe in God, it's not a gun. It's not some other weapon of choice. Our strongest weapon is the power of prayer. And I know that's taken a lot of heat. I know there's a lot of cynical, arrogant people that think they know better. They say thoughts and prayers. When you put your intentions and your consciousness and your conscience in alignment with the true and living God, the God of mercy, the God that is synonymous with love, the God that is synonymous with truth and charity, it will shine through your actions. It will shine through your words and your deeds. And it will shine for others to follow. It will shine for other people that are misguided, other people that are confused, other people that may be considering evil things. Everybody's looking for some tyrant to save us. People are looking for a militia to save us. They're looking for a militant Messiah to deliver us from our enemies so that we can rule and things can be the way we want them to be. But that Messiah already came. His kingdom is within. His kingdom is above, outside of this. You want to make society better? It starts with you. And the cardinal sin, the first mistake you can make is to think that in a fundamental way, in an essential way, that we're different from the people that hate us. It's not to say that we're killers. It doesn't make us killers. But we have a fallen nature. We have a tendency to love ourselves. We have a tendency to believe in ourselves. We're prone to the appetites of the flesh, the emotions, anima, supernatural forces. If you don't want that to win, you must resolve in your heart first what side you're on in the spiritual battle. Are you on the side of God? Talk to God. Pray to God. Give your intentions to God. Align your will with God. That's how you know you're on the right side and not on the side of... If you're out there thinking about revenge and talking tough and war and all this stuff, I would say think again. Now, here's the other part. We are in a civilizational struggle. People say, obviously, we're in peril. We have a real problem on our hands. We are besieged from every corner by the devil and by the devil's allies. As I said, by this elite syndicate which runs our country. It runs off of drug money. It runs off of violence and terrorism. It supports heinous wars and bloodshed like in Palestine. We're also besieged not just from above, but from below, by barbarians, by a primitive form of evil, by bandits, savages, murderers. You see it all the time, like we saw last week. You see it from our ideological opponents, from people in the middle, intellectuals, academics, these arrogant intellectuals chortling to themselves about this atrocity. They all have to be defeated. They will not be defeated by random acts of violence like some people are thinking of. They will not be defeated today, tomorrow. People say, what are we going to do? We got to get out there. How did Christ win the victory over the Roman Empire? How did Christ's church grow from 12 to millions to take over the ancient known world. They didn't expand by the sword. They didn't expand by conquest. It was by the witness. Witness to their true faith, witness to their suffering. When the Roman soldiers came to arrest Christ, the first instinct of his disciples was to defend Christ, to attack. And Christ quickly admonished his disciple Peter and said, those that live by the sword perish by the sword. Trade your sword for a cloak. Be as clever as a serpent and as innocent as a dove. This is my message. Every young adolescent man watching this, everybody whipped up, boomers too, boomer waffin that's out there, every person that is outraged by this, every person that wants change, I give you the same message. Trade your arms for a cloak. Be as clever as a serpent, as innocent as a dove. Right your interior life. Right your conscience. Put your conscience and your attentions in alignment with God. Be as innocent as you can be. Try your best to live a moral life. But don't be stupid. Don't be naive. With Charlie Kirk's death, his Turning Point organization, the fate of it is uncertain. Charlie Kirk, I'm going to be honest with you, I saw him as an establishment figure. I saw him as too moderate. We must fill up the ranks of these campus organizations with Septemberists. Forget about the free market. Forget about pro-Israel, free market, whatever. It is incumbent on all adolescent young men that want to save this country, that want any future for your children, that want to preserve what your ancestors built, to get involved in politics and to do more. And when I say politics, do not mistake what I mean. I don't mean go and vote for more Republicans to bomb Palestine. I do not mean to vote for more Republicans to cover up the Epstein files. Vote for more Republicans to squander and botch something like this so badly as they have. I mean, you need to become a human Swiss Army knife. Become unkillable. I'm not this guy, but get in the gym. Get in the gym. Do tactical training. Become hard to kill so you can protect yourself and your family. Learn the rules of the game and use them to your advantage. Get involved in politics. Get involved in a campus organization tomorrow. Get involved in a campaign. Not with the mind towards, I'm going to put up stickers, not with a mind towards we're going to get the vote, with a mind towards we are in this struggle until we die. By any means. We are in this struggle for the long haul. Until we win, none of us are safe. None of our families are safe. We will keep being attacked. Get used to it. You'll see more of it. I hope we don't. I pray that we don't, but we will. Get involved for the people that can't. For the people that aren't with us. For the people that aren't able. Start your career now so that one day you can be in a position of real power, real money, real influence, real government power. And not today, not tomorrow, because listen, that's not how these things happen. Rome is not built in a day. This kind of societal change, people that are looking for a quick fix, what are we going to do? You're not going to like the answer, because it is not that we are going to go out in some climactic, ecstatic, orgiastic, violent action like a movie. That never delivers change. It never delivers anything good. What does deliver real change is the thankless, monotonous, boring task, the oftentimes not very rewarding task of going in, day out, and dealing with logistical problems and frustrations and fighting every day so that we can be in charge, so that we can protect our country, our inheritance, and all people. That's the solution. That's my call on all people. In the short term, this scourge in our society, it must be driven out. It must be suffocated by goodness. They must be shamed, not hurt, not injured, not maimed, but they must be shamed. They must be ostracized. We cannot associate with these people anymore. And a more voluntary action is you need to get involved. This is the call to action that you're not going to like. Sadly, and I've been around for a long time and I've seen it, and you may not believe me. I've seen enough of these instances. You know how this goes. Everybody's paying attention now because they saw the gory video. Everyone's in their feelings because they saw video edits and productions with music on them on TikTok. But in 2 weeks, everybody's going to be right back to their regular old lives. You know that. That's the best case scenario. Everybody's going to be right back to their ordinary lives. In a year, sadly, you hate to say this, and we won't let them forget, but many will forget. Many people need to be reminded. And that's typically how these things go. Use the anger. Use the emotions you're feeling now, not to ruin your life. Not to say something reckless, do something you regret, not to say something just as murderous as what happened or do something just as evil as what occurred. Take these emotions, transmute them. Align your intentions with God. Use it for a righteous cause. Use it to get involved in a generational struggle. This is not me telling you not to act. On the contrary, dedicate your life to this. Dedicate your life to taking over our country to deliver a real victory. There is no substitute. There is no alternative. They must lose. We must win. They must be defeated. Ultimately, we must win. We must control the halls of power. We must control the big guns. We must control society for the good of us, our families, for the good of our enemies, for their own good, for the good of the children that have grown up and been misguided and corrupted by the devil and his allies to become this, to become monsters, for the good of us all. That is our responsibility. That's my message. Do with it what you will. We're not going to read super chats tonight. What happened yesterday cannot be undone. And a word on life and death. Here's the thing. There's only one way out of this world. Major reason this was so disturbing, so depressing, is because we saw it right up close and personal. And here's the thing about death. It's not pretty. It's not glorious. It's not triumphant. No one is triumphant in their death other than Christ. We die weak, feeble, mentally, physically incapacitated, violently. You see how fragile life really is. A bullet rips through your neck, it's over in an instant. How fragile the balance between life and death really is. How short and unpredictable life really is. We have plans. We have schedules, routines. We have a fate, an appointed day when we will be sentenced to death one way or another, somehow, eventually. It will take us by surprise. And then we'll spend eternity in heaven or hell. Remember that you will die. Like Charlie Kirk, you and I will die. Charlie Kirk had plans. We all have plans. We all have plans to live to be 95 years old, retired with our family on our side, dying of old age peacefully in our sleep. That's not promised. None of it. None of it is promised. Not our bodies, not our faculties, not our cognitive capabilities, not 50 years, not tomorrow, not today, not tonight. Do with that information what you will. Live as though if you died at any moment, you'll be satisfied with it. And what do we take with us in death? We don't take any of it. Not our bodies, not our wealth, as you know, not our esteem, our credibility, our victories. All of it eventually be washed away by time and by eternity. What you take with you to the judgment are your deeds. What is melted down At the end of your life is your actions. And they will be melted down like metals. And they will be gold, silver, bronze, copper. They will be judged accordingly to their weight, to their kind, to their type. What did you do? Did you do the right thing? Did you tell the truth? Did you sacrifice as Christ did? Did you do these things as Christ did? In the end, that is all that you take with you, and it is worth its weight in gold, literally. People get so caught up, they're so worried about strategy, machinations, even the fate of our people here in this world. But the world is passing. We are passing. We are mortal. And all these people that see Charlie Kirk, and I get it, people are beating their chest. They don't want to be deterred. They don't want to be defeated. Let it be a reminder. We all die. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We're all going that way. And the least that you could say about Charlie Kirk is that he died professing a faith in God. He died professing the truth. Let us be so lucky, in a way. I don't count him as lucky. It's a horrible tragedy. Years taken, memories, but ultimately martyred for the sake of the truth, for the sake of mercy, for the sake of the unborn, for the sake of children affected by all these diabolical, perverse things. He will receive a handsome reward in heaven for it. May he rest in peace. God bless Charlie Kirk, his family, his daughters, everybody, his enemies, his friends, everybody in the country. Let us truly see each other as children of God. Let us all see God in everybody. Let's be charitable towards one another in our words and our actions. Let's be slow to anger. And I know it's rich for me to say that. I'm a very volatile person. Let us be slow to be angry, wrathful, vengeful, judgmental. Let's try to be kind, compassionate, understanding. But at the same time, let us be strong, tough, clever when we need to be. Let us defend the people we love from those that are trying to hurt us. And God, give us the strength, the prudence, the perseverance to defeat this evil with some finality in our lifetimes. And it may be a long time, but let us see it through to the end for the sake of everybody. That's Charlie Kirk. So God bless him. Rest in peace. And I hope you'll take this message to heart. I know there's going to be a lot of people out there, and they're going to say, we need extremism. We need violence. We need to take matters into our own hands. Do not listen to them. Do not listen to the diabolical. Resist the temptation. That's my final admonition to all of you. But that's all I have for you. That's my show. I appreciate everybody for joining me. Thank you, everybody that tuned in. And I do take seriously my role. I don't want to say anything inappropriate. It's not necessarily about me, but at this point, it's unignorable. It's been thrusted upon me. As you know, throughout my time doing this, I have been dismissed, attacked. You know, I had an article written about me the other day. They described me as a mosquito. I recognize that I have an obligation now to be serious. I recognize that I, and so many of you too, we have to be leaders. And what it means to lead, not only to lead by example, but it also means to resist our worst inclinations for the sake of the common good. Not what feels right, not what feels good for us in the moment, not what satisfies our anger, but what is truly best. It takes vision. It takes courage. It takes prudence. It takes leadership. We need people to grow up. We need people to fill in to that role. And I hope that people watching the show will do that. I hope people heed my warning. And I pray for the country. So, God bless Charlie Kirk. God bless all of you, our country. And I will see you on Monday. I don't think I'll do a show tomorrow. I think I'll be back on Monday. So that's all I have for you. Be safe out there. Protect everybody. Be vigilant. These are some scary and disturbing times. But I will see you later, everybody. Signing off. Let me awkwardly produce this ending here. God bless everybody. I will see you next week. Thank you very much for listening. I'll see you next week. God bless.
Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo. It's going to be only America first. America first. The American people will come first once again. With respect, the respect that we deserve. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. America first.
Real quick, guys, we got breaking news. We're going to skip our
We'll get that information out to everyone.
intro today, but we've got this press conference. Tragic news here today.
Case in this investigation
Charlie Kirk
early stages.
has been assassinated. Let's take a listen into this press conference.
If anyone has any information, please report it to the FBI or local law enforcement. Thank you.
On behalf of President Tuminez, who we've been communicating with, and she's on her way back right now, I say that on behalf of Utah Valley University, we are shocked and saddened by the tragic passing of Charlie Kirk. We express our sincere condolences to the Kirk family. We grieve with our students, faculty, and staff who bore witness to this unspeakable tragedy. He was invited by the student group Turning Point USA to speak on our campus.
Yeah, I got the volume turned all the way up. I could try a different feed for you.
Build a website you love.
Oh, geez. Hold on, guys. If their volume sucks, it is what it is, dude. We've got it blasted all the way up.
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, I think it's them. Here, we're not going to miss it.
To this investigation,
Turn your volume up, dude.
operational, investigative, and intelligence. To be clear, the FBI will fully support and co-lead this investigation alongside with our partners. We are working on setting up a digital media tip line, and as soon as it's established, we'll get that information out to everyone. I know there's a lot of questions. This is very much an active case, and this investigation is in its early stages. We are following all the leads and all the evidence. If anyone has any information, please report it to the FBI or local law enforcement. Thank you.
On behalf of President Tuminez, who we've been communicating with, and she's on her way back right now, I say that on behalf of Utah Valley University, we are shocked and saddened by the tragic passing of Charlie Kirk. We express our sincere condolences to the Kirk family. We grieve with our students, faculty, and staff who bore witness to this unspeakable tragedy. He was invited by the student group Turning Point USA to speak on our campus. We firmly believe that UVU is a place to share ideas and to debate openly and respectfully. Any attempt to infringe on those rights has no place here. We do not condone any form of violence at UVU and seek to make our campus a safe place for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this dark and tragic occasion. I want to thank our law enforcement officers who are leading this investigation, starting with Chief Long and his response here with the UVU Police Department. We're grateful for your leadership and your team. And again, to the speakers that you've just heard from who are co-leading this investigation. I also want to recognize Sheriff Mike Smith, who has been an invaluable partner as this investigation moves forward. I've been in touch with President Trump, with FBI Director Kash Patel. We are completely aligned with our state and federal partners as we work through this case. Now, this is a dark day for our state. It's a tragic day for our nation. And I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination. We are celebrating 250 years of the founding of this great nation. That founding document, the Declaration of Independence, that this great experiment on which we embarked together 250 years ago, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. The first one of those is life. And today, a life was taken. Charlie Kirk was first and foremost a husband and a dad to two young children. He was also very much politically involved, and that's why he was here on campus. Charlie believed in the power of free speech and debate to shape ideas and to persuade people. Historically, our university campuses in this nation and here in the state of Utah have been the place where truth and ideas are formulated and debated. And that's what he does. He comes on college campuses and he debates. That is foundational to the formation of our country, to our most basic constitutional rights. And when someone takes the life of a person because of their ideas or their ideals, then that very constitutional foundation is threatened. Now, we have a person of interest in custody. The investigation is ongoing. But I want to make it crystal clear right now, to whoever did this, we will find you. We will try you. And we will hold you accountable to the furthest extent of the law. And I just want to remind people that we still have the death penalty here in the state of Utah.
Yes.
Our nation is broken. We've had political assassinations recently in Minnesota. We had an attempted assassination on the governor of Pennsylvania. And we had an attempted assassination on a presidential candidate and former president of the United States, and now current president of the United States. Nothing I say can unite us as a country. Nothing I can say right now can fix what is broken. Nothing I can say can bring back Charlie Kirk. Our hearts are broken. We mourn with his wife, his children, his family, his friends. We mourn as a nation. If anyone in the sound of my voice celebrated even a little bit at the news of this shooting, I would beg you to look in the mirror and to see if you can find a better angel in there somewhere. I don't care what his politics are. I care that he was an American. We desperately need our country. We desperately need leaders in our country. But more than the leaders, we just need every single person in this country to think about where we are and where we want to be. To ask ourselves, is this it? Is this what 250 years has wrought on us? I pray that that's not the case. I pray that those who hated what Charlie Cook stood for will put down their social media and their pens and pray for his family, and that all of us will try to find a way to stop hating our fellow Americans. With that, we're happy to take a few questions.
The FBI director is posting that a suspect is in custody. I would just like clarification. Do you or do you not have a suspected shooter in custody?
We have a person of interest in custody that is being interviewed right now.
That is not George Zinn.
That is not George Zinn. That is correct.
Are you still searching or looking for another shooter or anybody else related to this?
Yes, we are actively looking for anyone and everyone who has any possible information relating to the shooting.
Can you tell us details about the suspect being taken into custody? Where? How long ago?
We cannot at this point, but we will get you that information when we can.
Is there believed to be a second individual involved in the shooting?
At this point, there is no information that would lead us to believe that there is a second person involved.
Can you guys talk about the possible shooting?
Do you want to talk about what we know there? Yeah.
The only information we have on the suspect, the possible shooter, is taken from closed circuit TV here on campus. We do have that. We're analyzing it, but it is security camera footage, so you can kind of guess what the quality of that is. But we do know dressed in all dark clothing, but we don't have a much better description other than that.
Where did you believe the shot came from?
The shot came from here on campus, from a location at a fair, potentially from a roof, yes. A longer distance shot from a roof.
So to clarify, with the security camera footage you have and the person of interest that's in custody, does that match up?
That's what we're trying to decipher right now.
So did FBI or DHS have anything on the threat board this morning?
I can't speak.
I'll just say that the investigation is ongoing, and as soon as we have further information, we will be sure to release it.
Any indications of foreign intelligence involvement?
As of now, I can't comment on any of that.
Can you talk a little bit about the security of the event itself? Who was there security-wise, and what happens on these kind of events?
Chief Long.
So my name is Jeff Long. I'm the police chief here at UVU, and I'll tell you right now, we are devastated. We're a small police department. We have a very large campus. We have over 40,000 students, and we love our students. We love our visitors, and we're devastated by what happened today. This is the police chief's nightmare. I'm very saddened for the Kirk family. I know his wife and parents found out about this. Obviously he's away from home. He's here in Utah. They find out by a police officer that visits their home. That's tragic. Nobody wants that. But I can tell you about our venue today. This was an open venue. This was outside. We did have 6 officers working that event. We had probably over 3,000 people that were in attendance.
6 officers?
Down in kind of a bowl area here on the central campus. We have a waterfall area. And so he was kind of in a lower area, surrounded by buildings. We had some plainclothes police officers that were in the crowd as well. We train for these things, and you think you have things covered, and these things unfortunately, they happen. You try to get your bases covered, and unfortunately today we didn't. And because of that, we had this tragic incident. So we did have officers there. We had Charlie Kirk's team. He has a security team that travels with him, and they were here with him when he was shot.
6 officers for an event of 3,000 people? Come on, dude.
At this point, I can't disclose that.
When Charlie Kirk was shot, there was a question being asked about mass shootings. Was that person apprehended, and do you know who asked that question?
Say the question again. I don't know if I understand what you're saying.
When Charlie Kirk was shot, he was answering a question about mass shootings specifically. Was that person apprehended, and do you know who asked that question?
I do not. We do not have that at this moment.
I'm going to get to all this.
We have time for just one more question, so thank you.
Yeah, a question for the chief as well. Was it your team or Kirk's team or a combination of both that kind of set the security protocol?
No, that's retarded. It doesn't matter where the event is. 6 officers for 3,000 people? Give me a break.
Not uncommon for them.
I don't care where that's at.
Comfortable on campuses, and I was coordinating with his lead security guy, and so yeah, we were working together.
Was this a sharpshooter type shot? Was this a
Ladies and gentlemen, those are all the questions that will be answered today. Again, thank you for covering this. We will be updating you as soon as we have additional information through normal channels.
Their volume sucks. Turn up your volume.
Law enforcement. Again, our deepest condolences to the Kirk family and to the students who were there today. I would just ask everyone everywhere to please pray for their family and to pray for our country. We need it now more than ever. Thank you.
All right.
To our media partners, we will be sending a release out with updates through one channel of information, whether it's DPS or FBI. So please make sure that you fill out the Google form.
All right, there is the press conference. If you guys are just tuning in, you can lower your volume now. Sometimes, guys, I'm just gonna, we don't do the complaining thing in the chat. Go watch something else. That's on full blast. On sometimes the audio on these live events, these press conferences, they suck, especially when they're makeshift when something crazy like this happens. So that's why the audio's low. But anyway, so here we are, guys. We're going to be digging into this for sure. This is a massive tragedy. This is horrible. It's horrific. When the first video went viral, if you're just tuning in, TPUSA founder and CEO Charlie Kirk has been assassinated, confirmed multiple times here today. President Trump initially confirmed by Real America's Voice. And if you're just tuning in, it is not rumor. Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck today, speaking at an event in Utah at a college campus. And we're going to take a look at a lot of this footage. And you guys know me, man. I get very suspect when stuff like this is happening, especially when you watch what happens after. Okay, because initially there was what appeared to be an older gentleman that was arrested, or he was detained. And initially, that was the individual that was the suspect. But it was just clarified here now at the press conference that there appears to be a different individual that has been detained or is now in custody. And that's according to Kash Patel, the director of the FBI. FBI Director Kash Patel on X. Just before the press conference started. The subject for the horrific shooting today that took the life of Charlie Kirk is now in custody. Thank you to the local and state authorities in Utah for your partnership with the FBI. We will provide updates when able. So, there is somebody in custody. The past hour or so, there seemed to be a lot of confusion as to who is who on the ground. And we're getting a lot of footage. Now, I don't want to watch this again, guys. If you've seen it, you've seen it. This is someone I know. Obviously, you know, Charlie Kirk and I don't agree on a lot of things, but that doesn't mean you don't want the person to die. Okay, those are two very separate, different things. However, at the same time, this is somebody I know. This is somebody who's in my phone. This is somebody I've worked with. And the last thing you want to see is a colleague like this, whether you agree with them or disagree with them, okay, is them getting shot in the neck in front of the whole world, because you instantly and instantaneously think about his kids, you think about his wife, you think about his family, his parents. And so before we get into this, please pray for Charlie's daughters, pray for his wife, pray for his parents, pray for his family, all of those that are devastated right now as a result of this horrific assassination. It's you know, not what you want to see, man, you know. It's not what you want to see, man. You know, it's just, I've always told you guys here on this channel, you know, people are like, oh, Drew, you're, you know, I've heard this for years, you know, even working around the TPUSA people, even working within those organizations. And Drew, you're a little extreme. You're a little extreme. You sound like you want a civil war. You sound like you're ready to go kill leftists. You sound like you I don't know, man. I think we should just debate. I think we should just, you know, let's just agree to disagree. You're a little overboard, Drew. You're just a little crazy out there. You know, and I knew I needed to separate myself, and it's just, but this, you know, it just, it's like I have that in the back of my mind, and I've been in so many, you know, experiences, especially on this channel, and I've told you guys several times. I've told you guys, you know, this is why for people like me, I can't go to public places, you know, like do the man on the street or do on the ground reporting, do this kind of stuff because of what just happened today. Okay. Because of that. And so, you know, I'm not going to come out and dunk on anybody. I'm not going to come out, but I just really, what I will say is I really do hope people see this now. I really do, because, you know, when I joined these, you know, TPUSA or these student organizations, a lot of those people are like, Drew's a little crazy, he's a little extreme, he's a little over the top, you know, because I would talk about, you know, these terrorists, these murderers, they don't want to debate you, they don't want to go to college campuses and have debates with you, they don't want that, they want to shoot you, they want to kill you, they want to blow your head out. Guys, I would come out, I would say things like this, I would get called crazy, I'm too extreme, I think we should tone it down. And that's what makes me angry. Very angry. Very angry, because I have those people in my mind, and I just always knew these people aren't ready for war. They're not. They're not ready. Maybe now they are. You know, maybe now they are, because, you know, back in 2020 when I covered the riots and I looked down into where the Democrat Party truly wants to take these things. Spent a week in Chaz, Kenosha, watched people get shot in the name of leftist political ideology, BLM. I saw people getting killed, getting murdered, all of this. And I came out of that, joined organizations like TPUSA, and I'm like telling these guys, this is where we're at. These people want to kill you. There's no time for debate anymore. There's no time to agree to disagree. There's no time on going on podcasts and bringing in, you know, leftists and Democrats at TPUSA. There's no time for that. They want to kill you. They want to murder. I've been saying this for years, and it bothers me so much because it's led to this. And it's just, you know, And seriously, you know, like all those people that would say that to me, and for the record, you know, Charlie never said anything directly to me like that. It was just all of these people, all of these disgusting people, these weak people that have always been around him and his organization. And I told him this when we had to go our separate ways. I told him I loved him. I just can't be a part of this. These people are too insane. And if you ever need me, you know where to find me, dude. Like, I love you. It's just this thing you got is just, I just can't do it. And part of that is why I'm so angry, dude, is because like who the hell am I? You know what I mean? It's just, I just really hope people can see this now, you know? You see it now? You see what I've been saying for years? And these are not people that want to debate with you. These are not people that want to agree to disagree. These are not, and it showed today. That's why I'm so angry. Like, at the same time, it's tragic. And you know, Charlie's a martyr. He is a martyr now. He is an American martyr. His name will go down in history forever until the end of time because of what just happened today. As it should. Going down with a microphone in your hand, you know, I saw the first video and I'm like, I don't know, man. This doesn't look good. And then before the close-up video, before the close-up video went viral, it was sent to me like an hour before I saw it circulating on social media, and I knew he was dead, dude. I don't know. I just knew it immediately. I don't know if I'm not going to play it. I can't watch that again, dude. I can't. Like, this is someone I know, someone I worked with. We didn't agree on a lot. That's okay. But I don't want to kill him. We don't want to kill. You know, it's these psycho leftists and these psychopaths out here that want to annihilate and destroy our country. It's not just the country they want to destroy. It's you. It's you. It's life or death. It's good and evil. This is exactly what this has been about. And you know what? It's one of those things, dude. Right before 9/11, you know, I'm just like, what the hell? What really is this, man? Honestly, you know, I'm very skeptical. I have some thoughts that I'm gonna sit on and I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna say it yet, but I have some thoughts. Just find this very strange. Like a day before 9/11, it's just, I don't know. But I'm just gonna kind of wait and see what else comes out. But when I saw the video, I knew he was gone. He's gone. And I tweeted it. I just said, Charlie Kirk's not going to survive this without a miracle from Jesus. So pray and may the Lord's will be done. May the Lord's will be done. But, you know, I don't know if any of you, you know, there might be veterans out there that have been in combat. I've never been in combat. You know, I've never shot anybody, but I've watched people get shot and die on the spot. You know, I was never seen that before, ever. You know, it's one thing if like some kind of crazy video, you know, gets shown on the internet, but there's very like subtle things that happen, and the way the body moves, you know, it's just you know, I saw that with the Rittenhouse stuff, and when I saw the video, that's what I saw. I'm like, no, he's gone. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. Yeah, nobody's distracted here, retard. Okay? Nobody's distracted here. All right? Speak for yourself. Nobody's distracted here. We're human here. We have compassion. Guy took a shot to the neck, and his blood was pouring out of his neck in front of the whole world. He's got 2 daughters and a wife. Show some damn decency. Even if it's with people you disagree with. No one's distracted here, dude. Come on. Come on, get it together. But that's what that's what irritates me about this so much, because, you know, and I've told you guys this so many times, there are so many people. There's so many people around him, I know, that don't get it. They don't see it. Maybe now they do. Maybe now they do. Maybe now they do. But Charlie Kirk is a martyr now. They have made him into a martyr. This is absolutely what is definitely a catalyst to what comes next. And what comes next, we'll see what this president does. Because the Democrat Party is a terrorist organization. Leftists, terrorists, these communist psychopaths, obviously the LGBTQ psychos, all of this leads to this. It leads to this. I mean, at the least, the Democrat Party needs to be designated a domestic terrorist organization. I mean, it's just, we'll see what President Trump does, but I will tell you right now, dude, we are at the point where we are done with strongly worded letters, strongly worded Fox News hits. We are done with strongly worded tweets, Truth Social posts. But something needs to change. And I'm not talking about gun control. We're not talking about grabbing the guns. No. There's something, we haven't had any damn arrests of any high profile Democrat criminals. We are lacking on the mass deportations. We need some sweeping, seriously sweeping on everything. All of the criminality, all of these leftist psychopaths, all of the judges in the judicial coup, all of these leftists that are destroying and annihilating everything about America, all of this, all of these people, all of these criminals. On top of the fake news media. They don't have free speech to push these types of psyops that lead to these assassinations. The character assassination comes before the actual assassination. Now, you know, all I'm going to say is we'll see what the FBI says. Okay, we'll see what the FBI says, but I told my wife earlier, I said, I swear, if these people come out and they say Iran did this, and don't think for 1 second they wouldn't take it there, because they would. Oh, they will sacrifice any of their own. But we'll see. We'll see. Haven't heard anything like that. You just heard the press conference. They said, we don't have any comment on any foreign influence, etc. But we'll see. Here's a statement from TPUSA. It is with a heavy heart that we confirm that Charles James Kirk has been murdered by a gunshot that took place during Turning Point USA's The American Comeback Tour campus event at Utah Valley University on September 10th, 2025. May he be received into the merciful arms of our loving Savior, who suffered and died for Charlie. We ask that everyone keep his family and loved ones in your prayers. We ask that you please respect their privacy and dignity at this time. So we will do so. We will do so. But all of these people, man, all of these people, you're seeing all kinds of leftists all over social media. And I'm not going to play the videos again, guys. I'm not. Because it's disgusting. It's horrifying. This is like Kennedy stuff, honestly. It really, in terms of the footage. We'll see if we get answers from this administration. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. But clearly, this looked like a professional hit, man. That was a solid shot to the neck. Obviously, they were going for the headshot. They were going for the Kennedy shot. But still, they hit their mark. Okay? But here today, I want to stick to more of what is being reported. In the following days, I'll get further into, more of kind of what I think is here. But one thing I will tell you is just be on the lookout, obviously, for the gun grabbers, and also be on the lookout for any types of calls for some kind of like AI technological surveillance, because in a situation like this, that's when it will come, where people are destroyed, they're hurt, they want justice, and at the same time they you get emotional because especially if you knew Charlie, you worked with Charlie. Just be on guard with anyone trying to push that. Okay? And I'll just say that right now. So just be on guard with people that want a gun grab and also surveil you as a result. Just be on the lookout for that. All right? So here's what's interesting. I want to get into some of this footage because the way this happened was very strategic, very coordinated, and there's a ton of footage. And as always, I recommend my audience, all of the footage that you're seeing, make sure to download it and put it on like a physical hard drive. You can obviously put it on a cloud, but you need to have some kind of physical copies when stuff like this happens because they'll scrub stuff. If there is some kind of setup here, which I always leave the door open for that, right? I mean, it could be a setup, could be a deranged leftist that just showed up to assassinate Charlie Kirk. We will see what the investigators come out with, right? But so we are seeing some of this footage, and I don't want to watch Charlie getting shot in the neck and bleeding out. I'm not. It makes me sick, dude. We're not going to do that. But I want to analyze what is now coming out in terms of people on buildings, dude. Look at this. Footage shows individual running across roof of the Elase Center moments after Charlie Kirk assassination. Take a look at this. A shocking new video has surfaced that shows an alleged shooter running above the roof after the assassination of Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. According to the New York Times, UVU spokeswoman Ellen Triner confirmed that Charlie Kirk was struck by gunfire from a shooter positioned at the Elase Center, a building roughly 200 yards away from where Kirk was addressing students. And my phone has just been blowing up all day, guys. All day. But yeah, people checking up on me. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. But we've got to cover this. Yeah, because I know my loved ones will see that I'm live. Telling you guys, this is the real deal. When Tim Pool told me, and I think it was 2022, that you can't do this. You can't be going out there like that much longer because they'll kill you. And I'm like, in terms of when I was doing on the ground reporting and I'm around a bunch of deranged leftists, etc. And he was right. He was right, because every time I would go out, it wasn't like we're looking to beat you up. It's looking we're going to kill this guy, So hopefully now people kind of understand, why been a little on edge the past few years, you know, not willing to risk. I don't have presidential security detail, bro. Okay, and I don't even think Charlie did, because presidential security detail would have all of those roofs covered. But you can completely understand. I mean, I think Charlie was at the level where he needed that. And when I say presidential security detail, not, you know, it doesn't have to be an actual, you know, like Secret Service, but like something similar. I know he can afford it, that's for sure. He had his security detail, but clearly it needed to be expanded. If this isn't some kind of funny business inside job here, but this right here is looking pretty suspect already. But let's just take a look. This is the gatewaypundit.com. Clearly, this was an experienced shooter. To be able to connect that shot and then get away, people knew what they were doing. A shocking new video has surfaced that shows an alleged shooter running above the roof after the assassination of Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. According to the New York Times, UVU spokeswoman Ellen Trainer confirmed that Charlie Kirk was struck by gunfire from a shooter positioned at, is this the Lossie Center or Lossie Center? A building roughly 200 yards away from where Charlie Kirk was addressing students. Now, 200 yards away, I mean, if you have some kind of training with a rifle, you can make that shot, especially at an angle, and you've got the high ground. Obviously, an expert marksman can make this shot probably with his eyes closed. But some kind of, you know, just leftist that maybe just went and purchased a rifle like a month ago and decided to come and, you know, assassinate Charlie Kirk. I would maybe doubt they could make a shot like that unless they were, you know, training. We know the last LGBTQ psychopath that murdered all the Catholic children was training. And the ones before that, they were training at shooting ranges, right? But I mean, we're going to have to see who they come up with as the suspect. But so here's a schematic of the building. Let's see. This is a Grant Smith on X. There's no way someone untrained makes this shot and hits Charlie Kirk in the neck. The shooter could only make it by getting far enough over on the roof to clear the overhang of the building between him and Charlie Kirk. Then he had to shoot over a crowd of hundreds and into a tent. And so there is, here's where Charlie was in this, what are those, like those Greek style type of amphitheaters with the stage on the bottom and the audience elevated on stairs. And so Charlie was here with his back in his tent up against the building. And I believe Charlie's like motorcade. I think it was all back here where he came in. And that's usually how Charlie would do things. He would just kind of come in as close as possible, come in, do the event, and then get out for obvious reasons. So the shot was a direct shot. And here's the university spokeswoman, Ellen Trainer, said that Mr. Kirk was struck about 20 minutes after he began speaking on campus. She said a suspect had fired at Mr. Kirk from the Lossie Center, a building about 200 yards away, and been taken into custody. There have been some eyewitnesses that believed that the shooter was closer. Now, obviously, that could end up being subjective based off of, you know, being there. But we're hearing the report that somehow the university spokeswoman knew this. Right? So somehow the university spokeswoman just knows this already in the midst of all of this chaos, which is pretty wild to me. I don't know, Chad. What do you think? You know, how does the university know this before the FBI? How does the university know this before law enforcement? How does the university know this before anybody else? Oh, the shot came from that building over there, 200 yards away. I think we have footage. Was this already scrapped? Let's see. This is what I tell you guys. Download videos, man. When you see them, download them. Here we go. Is this shooter was on the roof? So I'm seeing different videos. That was a screenshot.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place? You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying? He just ran from over, where's my finger?
Wow.
From over there, ran in. And now he's right there. Just saying, just getting right up. Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
Okay, so according to that aerial schematic, this is that building the shooter's on, and Charlie is 200 yards straight, 12 o'clock that way. 12 o'clock meaning the shooter's 12 o'clock. Straight shot 200 yards away, and it looks like someone saw this guy on the roof.
Getting right up. Yeah. You think he'd already be in place? You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying? He just ran from over, where's my finger? Well, from over there, ran in. And now he's right there. Just saying, just.
Yeah, usually my instinct is to question how these people are all getting these videos like almost perfectly, but I think if I was still in the 90s before smartphones, I would be a real skeptic on that one. But now everyone's got a phone, is pulling out, filming everywhere. So, but here's another footage. So this is behind Charlie. Okay, this is, I believe, right? Hold on, let me see. What building is this? Where is it? Yes, I think this is behind Charlie. You could see someone on the roof in the distance. You see him right there? Yeah, so Charlie is right here. Charlie's right here. Oops. Did I not have the video on the whole time, guys? I'm sorry. Hold on, let me make sure I did. Oh no, we got the last one. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we got this one. Okay, so again, Charlie's right here in this tent. Okay, Charlie's right here in the tent. There's the white tent. He's under this tent. And then 200 yards, 12 o'clock. Obviously, this person is at an angle to Charlie's back left, so it's going to look angled, but they're straight in front of each other. Okay, look right here. See this little dot on the building? You can't zoom in because it's X, but I can maybe make it bigger for you guys. There you go. See this little dot? You're going to watch this dot move on the very top. Look at that. They're standing up. Let's play the audio. She took the shot and they start running. Look at that. Look at that. You see him running on top of the building? There's somebody running right there. Right there. That's the very building. So clearly there's somebody up there running away after the shot was fired. Yeah, this is max resolution, dude. It's X. It's a cell phone video, buddy. There it is right there. So someone's running on the roof. Let's see, I think we got another one. Let's see. I'm just checking everything, guys. When we do our live news coverage, we're just scanning the news. Yes, sir. We got a picture of it circled for you guys. Here's Owen Schroyer with the same image. If this is the shooter on the roof, there is almost certainly security footage of nearly every move he makes on that campus. Correct. So there's a more zoomed in photo. Let me see if I could actually save this. Let's see. Save this one. So I could let me zoom in a little more for you. Hold on, a PC. There it is. All right. Let's see. Download it and zoom in. Here we go. All right, you guys see that? Look at that. I'll put it full screen for you. There you go. There's that same shot. Here's Charlie's over here. He's way over here. And look at that. And when you watch the video, this individual is moving all the way over here. So I fully agree with Owen. There is going to be security footage. There should be of all of this individual's movements. Whoever this is on the roof. But apparently there's someone in custody, according to the FBI. And what we need to know is obviously who that is and if they line up with this individual that's on the roof. But also we need to know who the hell this is. Because obviously it was only one shot, but this obviously could be a multi-individual type of operation going on, right? Meaning there's more than one person. There's one shooter, but there could be more than one person assisting the shooter in various different ways, right? That looks like a sniper to me. Yep. But I mean, I don't know, man. I really don't know. There's a lot around Charlie. Like I said, I don't want to get into that today, especially after Turning Point's statement. Maybe we'll do that further in the week, but I need to see more. I'm curious to see where the FBI takes this. Okay, I'm curious. But we are there was conflicting reports that local police was saying the suspect was still at large. And FBI Director Kash Patel is now saying that there is someone in custody now. Specifically, Kash Patel said the shooter is in custody. The one that murdered Charlie Kirk is now in custody. All over it. I'm not going to believe it. I'm going to tell you right now. If this FBI comes out and says this has Iranian intelligence all behind it, you're going to know exactly what this is. I'll just leave it at that. Okay? I'll just leave it at that. Insane, dude. Yeah, so there were multiple arrests made, and this happens at these types of events because law enforcement is just, some people are like, that's the guy, and they'll just detain him and then sort it out later, right? But here's a shot. The House of Representatives attempted to hold a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. And look what Democrats did. Look what these terrorists did. Shh.
Let's wait a minute. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. Shh. The House will be in order.
Can't just have a damn moment of silence for Charlie Kirk and his family.
The House will be in order. We will join prayer right after this, okay?
The demons screeching. You mention prayer, you mention a moment of silence, and they screech. I'm so done with these people, dude. I really am. So done with these damn people. They hate you. They hate you and they want you to die. And today this just proves it. Here's that shot again. Let's take a look. This individual on the top. Yeah, we need to know who that is. We need to know who that is. I want to know if the individual that Kash Patel has in custody that he is claiming murdered Charlie Kirk. I want to know if that's the same individual on top of this building, and I want to see all the surveillance. To prove it. We'll see, man. We will see. We will definitely see. Let's see. We've got some other. I just want to take a look at everything right now. Yes. Mm-hmm. Emotions running high. Sorry, guys. I'm just looking at all of this right now, and it's horrible. Look at the reactions from these people. Look at this.
Basically, I heard a loud bang, which I figured a shot would be a little bit louder, but I just saw it hit him in the chest, and then all of a sudden just tons of blood gushing right out where his heart is, and then he like fell over and slumped down, and everybody got down and was screaming, and then we all ran.
Can you describe just, did he appear to be moving afterward or what?
Not at all. I personally believe he was dead on impact.
Oh my goodness.
They love it. That's why they're smiling and laughing. Mm-hmm. That's why they're smiling and laughing. And some of these reactions are just despicable, dude. Despicable. But not surprising. Not surprising whatsoever. This is the death cult, guys. The death cult wants you dead. All right? The death cult wants you dead. Let's take a look at, I think Destiny reacted. Let's take a look.
One shot. Yep.
All right.
What do you think conservative response to this will be? It's going to be the exact same response that it always is. It's going to be blaming the left. It's going to be a call for more aggressive rhetoric towards the left. It's going to be a call for the left to condemn or disavow or whatever the fuck. Anybody on the left that does any sort of disavow, whatever bullshit, I think is cucked and weak. I saw Newsom doing it earlier. At some point, if I hear any mainstream conservative say, we need to bring the temperature down, then I'll start taking it seriously. But until then, nah, fuck that. I don't think same thing I said on the
actually see chart.
And obviously Destiny is the degenerate pervert leftist that is always going to have a degenerate response, right? Unreal, man. Unreal, but unfortunately it is. This is horrifying, horrific news all over. Yep. Yes. All right, sorry guys, I'm just going through some of this. Okay, where were we right here? A close-up. Is this a zoomed-in version of the roof? Let's take a look. I think this is a little zoomed-in version of the roof. So there's the individual right there. So here's a little bit more zoomed in for you. Yep, look at that. This is after the shot. Individual running away on top of the roof. And by the way, it is not normal for people to be on roofs like this at universities dressed in all black. But this is definitely a big piece of this because I can guarantee you if this is some kind of setup, this video was not supposed to happen. Yeah, it's not normal for people dressed in full black to be on roofs. I mean, it could be anything from Antifa to some kind of operative, who knows? This is just the same clip. You see him running? Look at that. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting to see what we get from Kash Patel in regards to who they have in custody. But absolutely horrible. Sorry, guys. I'm just looking through all of this stuff right now while we're live. FBI director. Let's see. Look at this. Look at the leftists' response. We'll take a look at some of this as well. 31, yeah. Where are we? There we go. Blue Sky leftists mock and celebrate assassination of Charlie Kirk. Going directly to hell. Sicko leftists are celebrating and mocking the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Kirk, who was perhaps the most influential conservative activist in modern America, was shot dead while giving a speech at Utah State University on Wednesday afternoon. While politicians on both sides of the aisle have expressed their sympathy at his death. Give me a break. Yeah, that includes people like Tim Walz and Gavin Newsom. Many grassroots activists are actively celebrating. The worst reactions were found on Blue Sky, the platform of choice for the far left following Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter and X. Let's take a look at some of these. Charlie Kirk died the way he lived. Filling my timeline with Charlie Kirk posts. There's a way to be respectful in reporting on Charlie Kirk being shot while also refusing to whitewash who he was and what consequences his political activism has had. Obituaries for public figures are a part of history. Forgive me if I care way more about the school shooting that also took place today than I do about Charlie Kirk. This wouldn't have happened if Charlie Kirk had been armed. That's obviously a very sarcastic comment. MAGA propagandist Charlie Kirk shot in the neck in assassination attempt in critical condition. This was earlier. Tensions in the United States continue to escalate as the Trump regime and its fascist propaganda networks continue to antagonize the population. Each of these children is infinitely more valuable than Charlie Kirk. It's unfortunate that the President of the United States has created an environment permissive of political violence. And I think we should all call on him to work to repair the damage he has done. So this is Trump's fault. Perhaps if he had, Charlie Kirk would be alive. The MAGA saint Charlie Kirk is declared. R.I.P. to Charlie Kirk, who was incredibly confident that this would not happen to him. My thoughts and prayers go to the victims of gun violence, especially the children who never got to grow up. Propagandists like Charlie Kirk helped build this blood-soaked reality and got rich doing it. That's his legacy. The deaths of the innocent are tragic. His is not. This is what reprobate Romans 1 looks like. This is what you're seeing. Kirk's final seconds went blaming trans people for mass shootings, which is interesting. I mean, I don't want to play the clip again, but I mean, we can play the audio. I don't want to watch it again, but it was very interesting because before Charlie was shot, he was having a dialogue like he always does, you know, when he's doing his tabling and someone comes up to the mic, asks a question, and he goes back and forth in debates. Someone was asking about the LGBTQ trans shooters and the subject of the trans shooters. And right after, it almost kind of seems coordinated, guys. You know, I'm just saying, it's like scripted. I think scripted is a pretty accurate word. If you set your emotions aside and you just analyze what you're looking at, I've had to do that today. It was just interesting. It was interesting, like right when that question is asked, Charlie gets shot in the neck. Almost like, here's the intentional F you, buddy. Yeah. Here's what we have to say about your take. Okay? And then they just put a bullet in his neck. Right? And then instantaneously, you get images and video of people being detained. The old white guy, he was saying very interesting things. We can take a look at that. We'll get to that right now, guys. I want to analyze everything, but I want to take a look at some of these disgusting responses. Kirk's final seconds went blaming trans people for mass shootings, attributing them to gang violence. Hear a crack, warmth on his side, vision narrows, loss of consciousness. Phew, I was worried he would make it. Charlie Kirk recently said to a Palestinian that there's no such thing as Palestinians. Well, now look, there's no such thing as called as a Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was the architect of his own demise. Every evil action and every word of hateful rhetoric of his led him down an entirely avoidable path to what was the only logical endpoint for a person like him. I have no tears to shed, nor do I feel any joy. He'd better be begging for God for mercy. Charlie Kirk checking Twitter one last time before going directly to hell. And so here's the point that I've been making for years as well, is this is part of the PSYOP, okay? And when I say PSYOPs, and this is why, you know, like MSNBC, all right, MSNBC, CNN, these fake news, okay? I don't even like calling them fake news anymore because it doesn't resemble anything news. All of these hit pieces, calling you a terrorist, calling you a white supremacist, all of these character assassinations, that's part of the process to set you up for the assassination of your life. You know, I was saying this in regards to Trump, and people would say that I'm crazy, that's too extreme, you don't have faith in God, you know, all this crazy stuff. I'm like, I don't know, man, because if they can't stop you financially, they can't stop you politically, they can't stop you culturally, they can't. The next step is, after the character assassinations, they will take you out. You're next. And so with that said, you know, this obviously, and I've been telling you guys this for years, it's not just Trump. It's not just like Alex Jones. It's not people like Owen Schroyer that get thrown into prison. Okay. That get politically persecuted. It's not people like Drew Hernandez that get, I still get multiple death threats a day to this day. Okay, it's not just people out here that are obviously on the radar that are public. It's you guys. It's the viewers. It's the listeners. It's Americans. And this process to set you up, okay, this process to character assassinate you, and that's why I told you guys when they started calling everyone domestic terrorists, they're not just crazy hypocrites. They're doing that intentionally because terrorists get executed. Terrorists get dealt with. Terrorists get erased off the face of the earth. And then nobody questions as to, oh, why did you do that? Well, it's a terrorist. Did you want the terrorist to remain alive? Because the terrorist is going to kill you. And so that applies here. Same with Charlie. Years in the media, being called a terrorist, a white supremacist. Okay, character assassination. Being called a threat to democracy, coming from the mainstream media, MSNBC. I mean, that's why after this literally happened, MSNBC went on air and was still doing it. Charlie Kirk is divisive. Charlie Kirk is a very, very, very political, divisive person. It's like still leaning into that after the guy just got shot in the neck. Do you know why they do that? Do you know why they do that? It's not just because they want to discredit you. It's not just because they want to debank you. They don't do it for that purpose. It's not because they don't want people listening to you. That's only part of it. And I've been saying this for years. They do this because it's meant to set you up to be executed publicly in the eyes of millions of people. And then when it happens, if they've successfully psyoped millions of people to believe you're a domestic terrorist, believe you're a threat to democracy, believe that you're the one that's actually a threat to everybody's lives, especially if you're white. Don't lose that in this as well. So when it finally happens, you get this. You get millions of NPCs. You get millions of sick, demon-possessed, satanically influenced. They dance on your grave and they celebrate that you were just taken out and removed from planet Earth. This goes beyond what just happened today. And what I'm describing right now does not fall under free speech, does not fall under the free press. I think way too much has gone on. The Democrat Party, Donald Trump needs to come out. Donald Trump needs to come out tonight from the Oval Office and declare the Democrat Party and leftism and these psychotic freaks domestic terrorists. Every single one of them. Not just Antifa, not just BLM, every single one of them. But also, I do hesitate because I do believe that there's leftism that's involved in this. But I got my suspicion. All I'm going to say is Charlie started having Tucker Carlson on stage, started having his chapter leaders question Israel, some type of damage control. All I know is that Charlie represents something that has to do with making sure the next generation is on board with that Zionist agenda. And according to the numbers, he hasn't been delivering. And I said this. Remember when we reviewed Charlie doing the little struggle session with his sidekick Andrew, with all the TPUSA chapter leaders questioning Israel, talking about Israel, and I told you this is damage control. Something's off here because that is so out of character. And at the time, I called it donor control. And I said, I don't know, man. If Charlie Kirk is not delivering results, and you guys know when I said this months ago, I said, if Charlie Kirk is not delivering results for them, there's going to be some kind of removal. Now, I don't have any, all I'm going to say is I'm just going to tell you that's on my radar. Okay. That's on my radar with what happened today. We'll see. That's what I'm saying. We'll see. All I will say is, I swear, dude, if Kash Patel comes out and says if Donald Trump comes out, Kash Patel, Pete Hegseth, Pam Bondi, if they all come out in unison and they say Iran was behind this, we know exactly what happened here. And you might say that sounds a little extreme to remove somebody. Yeah, look what they did to JFK. Really? Yeah. So that's all I'm saying is that's on my radar. I'm just going to leave it at that, and we'll see. We'll see what Kash Patel says, but still, however, okay. I just be ready for that, guys. If they come out and say this has Iran all over it, and then you get JD Vance and you get Donald Trump out there now saying it's time to go to war with Iran because of what they did to Charlie. I'm just saying, like a day before 9/11. Just have that on your radar. Just be on the lookout for that is all I'm going to say. Okay. You guys know me. All right. You guys know me. Just be on the lookout. All right. And also be on the lookout in the middle of all of this for the gun grabbers. And also, you get this from the right. You've been getting this a lot lately after shootings. Is pushes for like Israeli backed surveillance. Gideon, Palantir. We need to surveil more. Charlie would be alive right now if we had Gideon. Just be on guard against those things right now. All right. Don't lose sight. All I'm saying is just keep it on your radar. All right? But we'll see what Kash Patel comes up with. But again, as I said, when it comes to the Democrat psyop of things, I mean, the mainstream media, this is how they set you up for death. This is how they set you up for execution. Right? The way they set you up for execution is they roll out the character assassination for years. And that's what they've been doing for Charlie Kirk. That's what they've been doing with all of us. Definitely Donald Trump. Every single one of you. You throw the MAGA hat on, domestic terrorist. That's not just hypocritical, that's intentional. Domestic terrorists get bullets to the head. So then now when it finally happens, regardless of how it happened, this is the result. This is what you get. There are people all over social media, all over TikTok, all over Blue Sky. They are dancing on Charlie Kirk's grave. They are justifying it because he was a radical. They were justifying it because he was an extremist. They were justifying it because he's a racist. All of that comes out after you take a bullet to the neck and you bleed out in front of the whole world. So I'm telling you, we'll see what Trump comes out with. Okay, we'll see. But in terms of the fake news, I mean, this just can't keep happening, dude. This can't, and it's not the guns that need to go away, and it's not surveillance that we need. There are a lot of components that are leading to this stuff. And a lot of it has to do with straight up defamating, character assassinating lies. And the reason why I say that, and I know that, is because look at the results. After you get taken out, after you get assassinated, you have all of these leftists dancing on your grave, justifying it with all of the leftist fake news talking points. All of the Democrat talking points, every single one of the talking points. You go through all their videos right now. I just went through a few on Blue Sky. You could at one point, you heard Van Jones say something like this. You heard Don Lemon say something like this. Rachel Maddow said something like this. The list goes on. Tim Walz, all the mainline Democrats, Gavin Newsom. They don't have free speech to assassinate your character. Okay? And enough is enough. Enough is enough, dude. Yeah, Charlie's, he has one son and one daughter. Yeah, still, it's still tragic, man. He's got little kids. He's got little kids. So, Trump's got to step it up here, really, honestly. But just like I said, be on the lookout on those things, man. Just be on the lookout. I don't want to be disrespectful today, but I got to be honest with you guys. Just be on the lookout. If you are told this was Iran and now we got to go to war with Iran, like you are going to know just exactly where this came from. Okay. But we'll see. We'll see. I think we got some more. Let's take a look at some more of these reactions, and then we'll get to some more of the intel. But yeah, if you are just tuning in, it was already reported that from FBI Director Kash Patel that they do have the shooter in custody. Kash Patel was very specific that they got the one that took Charlie Kirk's life. Mm-hmm. But you got all of these leftists, dude. All of these leftists. So we are getting some interesting reports. This is CNN. This is Roz Alerts on X. Take this with a grain of salt. CNN is now reporting the individual in custody who shot and killed Charlie Kirk is around 25 years old. Nah, we're not gonna watch the video again. No. I don't want to see that again, dude. These are people I know. These are people in my phone, dude. Okay? Like these I'm just, even though we disagree on a lot of things, the last thing you want to see is, you know, one of your colleagues getting shot in the throat and bleeding out in front of the whole world. But if you want to go watch it, it's all over X. You can find it on your own. I don't need to see that again, dude. Just ripped my stomach out of my body watching that earlier. I don't know. That's what I said it at the beginning of the show is, you know, it just, you know, I just really hope people see it now. You know, I really do. I really do. I really hope people see just exactly what you're up against right now. I really do. These are not people that want to have a debate with you. They don't want to agree to disagree. They don't want that with you. They want a bullet in your neck. And if they can't get a bullet in your neck, they want a bullet in your head. All right? And I've been saying this for years, and I got called extreme. You're crazy. That's a little out there, man. You're going to lose people. You might want to tone it down a little bit, man, because you're going to lose people. Well, now people see it my way. I'll tell you that. Take a look at this. This is Nick Sorter. The president of MSNBC has apologized after a guest on their air blamed Charlie Kirk for his own assassination, accusing Charlie of hate speech. Unreal, dude. Look, they're trying to save face.
But following up what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful action. But following up what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful action. But following.
So here's the comment from the network. It says, a statement from MSNBC President Rebecca Cutler. During our breaking news coverage of the shooting of Charlie Kirk, Matthew Dowd made comments that were inappropriate, insensitive, and unacceptable. We apologize for his statements, as has he. There is no place for violence in America, political or otherwise. Strip them of all of their licensing. Take them all off the air. Enough is enough. It's not news. It's not free speech, dude. What they do is they character assassinate you with lies and defamation to paint you as someone that deserves to die. You understand that? Are people seeing this now? Now all of a sudden Drew Hernandez doesn't look radical anymore, huh? Now all of a sudden it makes sense. And it's not just publicly, man. I get crap like this. It's just even like when I was with these, you know, TPUSA and these organizations working inside, and it's just all of these snakes and these disgusting people inside. They're like, yeah, you're just a little too extreme. You sound kind of alt-right. That's really alt-right, Drew. Oh my gosh, you're going to lose people. I think you should tone it down. I think people might get a little scared if you're saying that the terrorists want to kill them. I can't tell you. Heard it all. It just pisses me off. Things that were done, safety not taken serious, at least when I was around. And people would look at me like, that sounds kind of crazy. Like, really? Yeah. Yeah, these people will put a bullet in your head. I would tell them that. They will put a bullet in your head. You want to go report on Antifa undercover? You want to go report on BLM domestic terrorism? You want to be around these left? You want to do all this? You want to do that? You want to do all of that? You need to do X, Y, and Z. Well, that's a little extreme. You really think that? Yeah, I don't think that. I know they will. Okay. So yeah, my outrage is towards all of those stupid people as well. Over the years, it's a little overboard, Drew. It's a little extreme. You get it now? You know who you are. Every single one of you. You know who you are. Do you get it now? Do you understand it now? Do you see who you're up against now? Does it make sense? Do I sound too extreme now? Do I sound a little overboard now? All of these cuckservatives. It's cuckservatives I'm talking about. These are the people I've been dealing with for years. You're a little too extreme. Oh my God. He wants to do this. He wants this much security. What does he think? Yes. Otherwise you end up with a bullet in your neck. And that's part of the reason I had to leave. And that's what pisses me off the most. It's what pisses me off the most. It truly does. It makes me so. I'm really trying as hard as I can to remain composed because I want to remain composed, but I don't know, man. And that's why I've been telling you guys, these cuckservatives, they're not ready. They're not ready. You are not ready. You're not ready for what you're up against. Okay? If you think my commentary is a little rough, you are not ready. Well, maybe now they'll see it. And unfortunately, this has been the cuckservative, even just conservative side of things. Unfortunately, it just takes something like this to happen for people to finally get it, I guess. Which pisses me off. Maybe now cuckservatives will understand. Maybe now. Maybe now. Oh, I don't like the way you say it. Oh my God, it's a little rough. It's a little extreme. Yeah. It's because of who we're up against. We'll come back on that. I'm a mixed bag of emotions today, guys. These are people I know, dude. Okay, these are like colleagues, people I've worked with. We don't agree with everything, but I'm like, dude, this is just like horrifying, dude. It really is, and this is like, gosh, man, I just. It just breaks my heart because I just can't tell you guys how many times I would say stuff like that and I just would get called crazy and this and that. And I'm just not by Charlie, never by Charlie, but just like when we parted ways, I told him, I love you, man. I just can't do this around these people. I just can't. and I got to just go do my own thing, you know? And always, my main concern, always, whenever I was there, I'm like, I say these things because Like, yeah, I'm a target. A lot of these public figures are targets, but you. You. And unfortunately, that's what happens, you know. But I'll just leave it at that. That's why I'm angry, guys. I'm angry because you know I was a part of, you know, TPUSA. I was around a lot of these weak, pathetic people. That would criticize me for warning about stuff like this. Well, now you get it, don't you? Now it understands. Now it makes sense, doesn't it? I'm not saying this because it's like, oh, yeah, look at me. Oh, gotcha. I was right. You were wrong. At what? At the expense of what? He's dead. He's gone. His kids don't have a father anymore. His wife is a widow. Are you listening now? Are you listening now? Screw all those people. Screw every single one of them. They know who they are. You know who you are. You know exactly who you are. Anyways. I told you guys. Conservatism. It's going to get you killed. I'm telling you. I'm not blaming Charlie or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, if you don't have like the war mentality, dude, okay, and I'm not saying like let's just get up and start, you know, massacring people. What I'm saying is like, dude, you have to have the mentality that when you go to these types of environments, there's going to be people here that want to kill you, bro. They don't want to have a conversation with you. So your strategy has to change, okay? Like, there has to be a different approach to certain things. Anyways. Senator Elizabeth Warren reacts to the death of Charlie Kirk and calls for, you guessed it, more gun control legislation. She then attacks President Trump for seemingly, quote, turning up the temperature in the United States. So yeah, it's Trump's fault. Why did Charlie Kirk get assassinated, according to Elizabeth Warren? Oh, it's Donald Trump's fault. Yeah, okay, dude.
This is just wrong. And my heart goes out to his family, to his friends. But we just cannot be a country that turns to violence when we disagree. We just can't.
What can Congress do about it, Senator?
Well, one thing Congress can do is gun safety. And every time there's a killing, the Republicans say this is not the time to talk about gun safety. And yet we have to. As a nation, we have more gun deaths than most other nations, and we don't keep our children, our friends, our neighbors safe by just putting ordinary gun safety rules in place. You know, I just want to say this coming from Massachusetts. If the rest of the country would just follow the rules we follow in Massachusetts, we could reduce fatalities all over this country. And plenty of people who are hunters and who use guns for sport still have lots of activities in Massachusetts. But at least we make it a little tougher to use guns for harming other human beings.
What do you say to people who are saying the Democrats need to lower the temperatures?
Oh,
talking
please.
about things in, you know,
right. Why don't you start with the President of the United States? Right? And every ugly meme he has posted and every ugly word. He is the leader of this nation. And I think that when he's posting things like he did just a couple of days ago, trying to show an entire city on fire, and a reference to helicopters, in effect, throwing people out of helicopters and showing himself as some kind of big chest-beating threat then I just don't want to hear this from the Republicans.
Do you think politicians on both sides have a role to play here, though, in trying to turn the rhetoric down?
I think what we have to say is, A, violence is not the answer, and we are willing to take steps so that violence in this country is not so lethal. Do we have a single Republican who will stand up and join us following the school shooting out in Denver at the same time? School shootings happen every single day. They have become commonplace in this country. It's hard now to actually get attention when someone has been mowed down with a gun, and Congress could change that and should change that.
I just asked Senator Cassidy that same question before you, and he said Congress can't change the heart of a man.
You can change whether or not they have a lethal weapon in their hands, and the likelihood that they will be able to kill another person or to kill themselves
Screw you.
goes up if they have a lethal weapon.
This is not what Charlie would have wanted, by the way.
Those are the facts. And Republicans want to turn their backs on that because it is more politically.
Knowing Charlie personally, Charlie would be saying, no, more guns, more guns.
And Republicans want to
Screw this old hag.
goes up if they have a lethal weapon. It's just, those are the facts. And Republicans want to turn their backs on that because it is more politically expedient. But they are not making anybody safer.
A lot of people are saying that political violence has no place in our country, but it clearly does have some place in our country.
Fact of life now.
Is it just a fact of life now that there's this
I don't want it to be a fact of life, and that's what we have to keep saying. We have to keep saying no violence, but we also need to back it up with actions. And backing it up with actions means just taking some modest steps for gun safety. And remember here, most of America agrees with us on modest steps on gun safety. On things like background checks.
She's literally standing. Charlie Kirk isn't even buried yet. So I can't even say she's standing on his grave pushing gun control. These people, dude. Where are the mass arrests, Trump? I'm done waiting. Where are they, Bondi? At the least. At the least. Where are the mass arrests? It's what I voted for.
This is what America wants to do, to protect our children. And yet, the Republican Party, just as they bend a knee to Donald Trump, bends a knee to a gun industry that continues to make money by stirring everyone up and making sure that everyone has access to every possible lethal weapon. And that puts all of us at risk. It puts our children at risk. It puts leaders at risk. And that's a real mistake for our country.
Senator Warren, do you feel safe given all this violence?
How can anybody feel safe today? I worry when I send my grandchildren off to school. Who doesn't? If you're alive and breathing in the United States right now, you understand that the risks have simply escalated. And the United States Congress could act, and so far simply refuses.
Right. Right. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Charlie would want more guns as a response. I know that for a fact. If Charlie were to react to what just happened to him, he would be calling for more guns, not less. More. I can say that with full confidence. That's what he would be calling for. Not less guns, more. More. People are disgusting, dude. Look at this. Laura Loomer just posted this. During the TMZ live stream today, employees at TMZ could be heard cheering 30 seconds before Charlie Kirk's death was announced on the TMZ live stream. They were happy to hear the news of Charlie Kirk's death and can be heard clapping and cheering before passing the news to Harvey Levin, who was hosting the stream. Harvey Levin, TMZ needs to condemn this. Look at this. Look at these sick freaks.
If he's still on the loose because they want to find him.
So this was obviously earlier before Charlie's death was confirmed.
If he's still on the loose because they want to find him. So I would think that that's one of the main reasons they're holding this news conference. So my guess is we're going to see an image of this guy possibly in the next 20 minutes. The news conference is scheduled for 3 o'clock in Utah time, which is 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 o'clock Eastern. Janet, go to have somebody look at.
You hear that in the background? You hear all the celebrating in the background?
Janet, go to have somebody look at the Fox. Trump just posted that Charlie Kirk is dead.
All right, so is this ready to pull the trigger? We can get Trump cut in a second.
Jeez, dude.
What did Trump say?
Yeah, who sent it?
So what did Trump say? Yeah, Trump just said he's dead. Yeah, he just said it. Okay.
This is so sick, dude. These people, man.
Is that up?
Go out to his beautiful wife.
Like right now.
Yeah. True Social. True Social.
Where is it?
It's number 2 and pending.
Got it. You're still in it.
You're still in it.
Okay.
Get it up.
Got it. Can someone alert this, Abby or Liam? Or Rob, sorry. I know you're there.
I want to confirm
Okay, it's
people
up.
in the back
Now
were
get the
cheering
Trump
about
statement
Charlie
in
Kirk. There's a
immediately.
police chase in Temple City right now, and that's what they were watching, not Charlie
So Donald
Kirk related.
Trump just posted
Okay, so this guy comes in and tries to do some damage control.
statement in immediately.
Or Rob, sorry. I know you're there.
I want to confirm
Okay, it's
people
up.
in the back
Now
were
get the
cheering
Trump
about
statement
Charlie
in
Kirk. There's a
immediately.
police chase in Temple City right now, and that's what they were watching, not
So
Charlie Kirk
Donald
related.
Trump just posted.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're cheering because of a police chase going on. Yeah, that's what they're paying attention to.
that Charlie Kirk is dead. Wow.
Title change.
Again, unsurprising that
This is for sure
after
confirmed.
what we saw with this video. Can you read the statement, Cameron?
Yes.
Of course, it's confirmed. The president of the United States just confirmed it, you retard.
All right, so Trump just posted this about 4 minutes ago. He said the great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth of the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now.
Drew, you've been at this a long time. You should know. I don't need to be lectured. Get the hell out of here. Pack it up. Pack it up. Get out of here. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you.
Today's not the day, retard. Today is not the day.
Wow.
Fox News still has it 7. Which is interesting.
Got it. Thanks.
That's odd. I mean, that's just
Yeah,
odd.
their lower is still. No, I'm out.
I'm putting in the statement.
Thank you.
Okay, get the statement in right now. That's a separate post, right?
Yes.
And have you built that post out with other assets from this?
Yes, it was a whole prep. We have it all.
Yep.
That's disgusting, but not surprising. We are in Romans 1, guys. That's where we are at. We're right here. That's what you're seeing. Full manifest. Fully manifest. Oh, man. We just got an update. Okay. I'm seeing updates, guys. Oh, my gosh. You got to be freaking kidding me, dude. Are you serious? Don't go anywhere, guys. We're getting updates still. Here we go. I'm trying to get we're getting conflicting reports now. I don't even know if I want to report on this. Hold on, let me see. Let me do some double checking here, guys. All right. Here, Kash Patel. We got some breaking news, chat. Breaking news. We got an update. Kash Patel, about 10 minutes ago, the subject in custody has been released after an interrogation by law enforcement. Our investigation continues, and we will continue to release information in interest of transparency. So the shooter is still out there. Oh my gosh, dude. This is wow. Wow. The shooter is still at large, Utah. If you're in the area, if you are in Utah, okay, if you are in this area, the shooter is still at large. Oh my gosh, dude. So FBI Director Kash Patel about an hour ago said that the subject of the shooting that took Charlie's life was in custody, and now he has posted an update saying the suspect has been released. I'm assuming they got the wrong guy. Yeah, this is going to piss a lot of people off, guys. I'm telling you, law enforcement better get it together, dude, because I mean, if this is like a natural if this is well, no, I don't want to say that. I mean, if what happened to Charlie today is a natural occurrence of a domestic terrorist attack, an assassination, meaning there's no back engineering, there's no influence behind it. It's just some kind of psychotic individual that wanted to come and kill Charlie Kirk. They better get it together, dude, because people are going to be pissed, dude. Okay. And, this is on you now, Cash. This is on you. You mess this up, dude. If this is, and what I mean by that is if there's no setup here, if Charlie Kirk was not set up, it's not an inside job. That's what I mean by that. It obviously happened. And I'm telling you, man, it's just crazy. The day before 9/11, I don't know, man. Yeah, all flights should be grounded. All flights, domestic, international flights should be grounded. There needs to be transportation. There needs to be checkpoints. At least at the boundaries, the state limits. This is manhunt time, guys. I mean, if this, and that's why I say, if this is just like a natural thing that happened, like some leftist psycho decided to come and kill Charlie Kirk today, you guys better get on this. But if there is some kind of inside job, this stuff's going to get buried. I mean, we still haven't heard anything from J13 of last year. They're saying the shooter was about 200 yards, guys. Was it 200 yards, right? 200 yards away. I want to say, right? Yeah, they need to shut down all flights. I mean, I should tweet that. There needs to be checkpoints. Utah needs to be there needs to be checkpoints in and out of the state. The shooter's at large. This is it. Yep, breaking news, chat. Breaking news. There it is. It looks like Charlie Kirk was honored tonight on the eve of the 9/11 anniversary by the New York Yankees in Yankee Stadium.
2 children is 31 years old. 2 children is 31 years old.
Remembering Charlie Kirk.
2 children is 31 years old. 2 children.
I don't know, man. All I'm saying is just be ready for what Kash Patel comes out with. I'm telling you, if they come out and say this was like Iran or something, I mean, that'll be so obvious. So obvious. But okay, anyways, let's continue with this coverage. I do want to take a look at some more reactions as well. But if you are in this Utah area near the university, I believe it was Utah Valley, be on guard, guys. If you're in Utah at all, if you're a viewer or a listener of mine, be vigilant, head on a swivel. This guy is still out there. This operative is still out there. Okay? Still out there right now. Wow. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Where was I? This was that was Elizabeth Warren. As a result, in honor of Charlie Kirk, President Trump has ordered all American flags across the United States to be lowered to half-mast until Sunday evening at 6 p.m. There you go. But Utah, still on high alert, man. Still on high alert. The shooter is still at large. Oops. Sorry, guys. I'm just going through this interview. Here's another psycho reacting to the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
He was shot because we don't have food in our fridge. He was shot because our co-workers of color are being incarcerated and sent back to their country for no reason. He was shot because we don't have health care. We are so mad up to the point that we're actually starting to take pew-pews and take them to politicians. And honestly, I do not agree with gun violence at all. I feel like there's other ways that we can...
Yes, you do, you stupid black. Yes, you do. Yes, you do, you violent woke black. Yes, you do. Obviously, I don't. Yes, you do.
You've seen the video on Twitter. Please listen to the last 10 seconds of what...
Of course, there's a black chirp in the background.
Shot! If you've seen the video on Twitter, please listen to the last 10 seconds of what he said before he went. And if you... Honestly, y'all, he had it coming. I'm so sorry. He was shot because we don't have food in our fridge.
Yeah, this stuff is going to make you angry. No, we're going to show it. We're going to show this because people need to see this degenerate response. People need to see this. Okay? You know why? Because I've been saying this for years. And these dumbass conservatives out here, you need to see this. Enough of this. No, don't give it. No, don't play it. No. You need to see evil for what it is, to know what you're up against. You can't just blot it out. You can't just ignore it. That's been the problem for years. No, don't listen to it. No, we're going to listen. We're going to listen. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, you guys should see the text messages I'm getting right now. Oh my gosh, bro. It's just, oh my gosh. Wild. Anyways, yeah, no, you need to see this. The conservatives need to see this. No, I'm just my emotions, I'm trying to, be as leveled as I can. But the reason why I laugh is just because, you just, people are like, dude, it's just, yeah, you were right about this. You're right about that. I'm like, it just gets exhausting, it does. It really does. But I want to see something. I'm asked because my buddy just sent me something and I want to. It's interesting what they just sent me. Hold on. Hold on. And link. Okay. All right. Okay. Where was I? It's going to be a bit of a fluid show today, guys. But here's some more. This is who you're up against. All right? These people hate you. They want you dead. It's evil, dude. It's demonic. You need to see it. People need to see this because this is what you're up against. Instead of just being a conservative, like, no, don't give it any airtime. No. We're going to expose this. We're going to expose the devil. That's what we're going to do. That's what we do here on Drew Hernandez Live. Okay, this is not conservative media, all right? But I just got a very interesting text, and I want to see if I could view this. So someone told me Pastor Jack Hibbs just put a video up addressing what just happened and said, you need to listen to this. There's something interesting in it. Let's listen together.
And what's going on is 1:45 Pacific time. And as you guys have been watching the news, there's conflicting reports all around the globe. Literally all around the globe.
So this was earlier. Oops.
Made a comment and made the announcement. Reports all around the globe. Literally all around the globe. Israeli news service and Benjamin Netanyahu had made a comment and made the announcement that Charlie Kirk had passed, that he was in fact dead, that Charlie has died. They made that announcement roughly 20 minutes after the shooting.
What? Why did my video just like stop? What? What? Why did it stop?
What's going on is 1:45 Pacific time. And as you guys have been watching the news, there's conflicting reports all around the globe. Literally all around the globe. Israeli news service and Benjamin Netanyahu had made a comment and made the announcement that Charlie Kirk had passed, that he was in fact dead, that Charlie has died. They made that announcement roughly 20 minutes after the shooting.
Hold on. I gotta watch this whole thing. Hold on. Maybe I need to sign in. I don't really use Facebook, so I'm not like logged in. Maybe it wants me to be logged in. Is that what's going on here? I don't even know what my password is, bro. Holy crap. And by the way, this is Pastor Jack Hibbs, which is a hardcore Zionist pro-Israel, and he's going to say this like it's a good thing. But yeah, so earlier when I said you should see the text messages I'm getting, one of my buddies sent this to me that's been red-pilled lately, and that's why I kind of laughed. They're like, dude, you need to listen to what he just said. It's just, it's crazy how some of my buddies are so red-pilled now on this issue. Hold on. I don't even know my login for Facebook. I don't even use Facebook. Is this? Let's try this. Should I sign in live in front of everyone so they can see my screen? Imagine if I was that retarded. Hold on. Okay. Let's try that. Try another way. Okay. Dude, I need to see this full video, bro. Is that video on X of Jack Hibbs? I doubt it. Wow. Oh, there we go. I think I did it, guys. Yeah, I don't use Facebook, guys, anymore. Just being completely honest. Oh. Sorry if I'm not prepared or not logged in. Okay. Yeah, sure. Just save the login. Yes. Okay. There we go.
Buddy, just an update on what's going on. It is 1:45 Pacific time. And as you guys have been watching the news, there's conflicting reports all around the globe. literally all around the globe. Israeli news service and Benjamin Netanyahu had made a comment and made the announcement that Charlie Kirk had passed, that he was in fact dead, that Charlie has died. They made that announcement roughly 20 minutes after the shooting. U.S. News reported nothing of that he was stable. Some reports said that he was in surgery. Of course, obviously, I've talked to people who were literally in the presence of Charlie, trying to stabilize him. CNN is just now reporting that he is in fact passed. Tonight, special service this evening. Not exactly sure how this is going to work out. I'm going to be very honest with you, and I'm only speaking to the Calvary Chapel Chino Hills family right now. That I've had to make a decision between going through with service. Fox News is now announcing Charlie Kirk is dead. 1:46 Pacific time. Fox News. CNN is reporting that he has passed. So I first found out that he had passed shortly after Charlie was shot from Israeli news service. How they knew, but they knew. And now, just now, well over an hour or so, an hour and a half, the U.S. News is reporting this. What? I've got some details that I'm not willing to share right now. But tonight's service, I'm going to ask everybody to come on out and pray. And I'm going to ask you to be patient, please, because I've just made a decision, because this is important. We are going to pray as a church family, and I will be with you there. And at the same time, I'm going to be running across campus as we set up the Real Life Network interview with Fox News nationwide. I've been asked if I would address this on Fox News nationwide. So I'm going to try to be in two places at the same time.
Dude, that is... Wait, what? I don't know how Israel knew before the rest of the world, but somehow they knew. What the hell, dude? This is crazy, bro. That is what? And guys, this is Pastor Jack Hibbs, senior pastor of Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills. One of the most hardcore Zionists, probably in America. Now, I don't think he's saying this like he's like getting based and red pilled. I think he's just saying this like not really realizing how very unsettling and off that sounds. I don't even know, dude. That is crazy, bro. I gotta hear that again. Holy crap.
Now, just now, well over an hour or so, an hour and a half, the U.S. News is reporting this. I've got some details that I'm not willing to share right now. But tonight's service, I'm going to ask everybody to come on out and pray. And
hold on, I didn't go far back enough.
In between going through with service, Fox News is now announcing, CNN is just now reporting that he is in fact passed. Tonight, special service this evening. Not exactly sure how this is going to work out. I'm going to be very honest with you, and I'm only speaking to the Calvary Chapel Chino Hills family right now. That I've had to make a decision between going through with service. Fox News is now announcing Charlie Kirk.
Dude, this is, why is it, where was it at?
Charlie Kirk had passed, that he was in fact, reports all around the globe, literally all around the globe. Israeli news service and Benjamin Netanyahu had made a comment and made the announcement that Charlie Kirk had passed, that he was in fact dead, that Charlie has died. They made that announcement roughly 20 minutes after the shooting. U.S. News reported nothing of that he was stable. Some reports said that he was in surgery. Of course, obviously, I've talked to people who were literally on this, in the presence of Charlie, trying to stabilize him. CNN is just now reporting that he is in fact passed. Tonight, special service this evening. Not exactly sure how this is going to work out. I'm going to be very honest with you, and I'm only speaking to the Calvary Chapel Chino Hills family right now. That I've had to make a decision between going through with service. Fox News is now announcing Charlie Kirk is dead. 1:46 Pacific time. Fox News. CNN is reporting that he has passed. So I first found out that he had passed shortly after Charlie was shot from Israeli news service. How they knew, but they knew. And now, just now, well over an hour or so, an hour and a half, the U.S. News is reporting this. I've got some details that I'm not willing to share right now.
Dude, that is crazy. Like, bro, do you not realize what you just said? I got to listen to that one more time.
Hey everybody, just an update on what's going on. It is 1:45 Pacific time. And as you guys have been watching the news, there's conflicting reports all around the globe, literally all around the globe. Israeli news service and Benjamin Netanyahu had made a comment and made the announcement that Charlie Kirk had passed, that he was in fact dead, that Charlie has died. They made that announcement roughly 20 minutes after the shooting. U.S. News reported nothing of that he was stable. Some reports said that he was in surgery. Of course, obviously, I've talked to people who were literally on this, in the presence of Charlie, trying to stabilize him. CNN is just now reporting that he is in fact passed. Tonight, special service this evening. Not exactly sure how this is going to work out. I'm going to be very honest with you, and I'm only speaking to the Calvary Chapel Chino Hills family right now. That I've had to make a decision between going through with service. Fox News is now announcing Charlie Kirk is dead. 1:46 Pacific time. Fox News. CNN is reporting that he has passed. So I first found out that he had passed shortly after Charlie was shot from Israeli news service. How they knew, but they knew. And now, just now, well over an hour or so, an hour and a half, the U.S. News is reporting this. I've got some details that I'm not willing to share right now.
Dude. That is just like, my goodness. Wow. And so I'm telling you guys, man, when I saw Charlie start to let Tucker come on and question Israel and start to bring out his chapter leaders that are questioning Israel, and when I saw that, I saw that obviously as Charlie doing like damage control, but I saw it as donor control, like, because that age demographic that Charlie has been the champion, the Gen Z demographic, right, is not pro-Israel. They're not Zionists. And Charlie has been tapped to make sure that they are. And he's failed. Clearly, that's what's happened. And so I said this months ago. I was like, I don't know. He might be replaced one way or another, but we'll see. We'll see what Kash Patel does. I'm going to tell you right now, dude. I'm going to tell you right now, if they come out and say that Iran was behind this, And then Trump gets fully activated with JD Vance, Palantir surveillance. And then it's like, now we got to go to war with Iran again. I'm telling you, dude, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. I'm going to report this. I'm going to report this on X right now, what Jack just said. Watch me get a ton of crap for this, but he said it, not me. Pastor Jack Hibbs of Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills reports Israeli news reported Charlie Kirk was dead 20 minutes after the shooting. He says U.S. News reported nothing of his death at first, and he doesn't know how Israel knew, but they knew. Holy crap. Watch this. Watch how many people are going to get mad at me for... dude, I didn't say it. He said it. That is very strange. Why isn't this not working? Hold on. Come on. Hold on. Might have to repost this. Dang it. Okay. That is crazy. That is crazy. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to clip that up. And then I'll post it that way, because you want to post like the clip with something like that. Because then people are like, well, show us the clip. Where's the clip? Where's the clip? I'll clip that up later. Yeah, I'll clip it up later. We got it recorded right here, and then we'll drop it. But, okay, well, that is interesting. Thank you. You know who you are that sent that to me. Yes, that is a very, very, very interesting piece of intel and observation. But let's see if we got any updates, chat. Yeah, if you're just tuning in, very dark and tragic day today. And obviously, the American people are going to want answers. And what's interesting right now is to bring you back to speed, up to speed. Is this another one? Yeah, we got another one. Look at these psychos, dude, out here.
That was a sharp shot, clean bullets, exactly where it needed to go to kill him instantly. It went right there. You could see the bullet hole right there. That nigga bled out immediately. That was a sharp shot, clean bullets, exactly where it needed to go to kill him instantly. It went right there. You could see the bullet hole right there. That nigga bled out immediately. That was a sharp shot, clean bullets, exactly where it needed to go to kill him instantly. It went right there. You could see the bullet hole right there. That nigga bled out immediately.
This is what you're up against. This is what your kids are up against. Okay. Take a look at this. This is Dom Lecrae on X. Breaking top streamer in the world, Kai Cenat, is getting backlash for showing no remorse over Charlie Kirk's tragic death earlier today. Kai Cenat says, quote, "That's the guy with the crazy takes. He be saying some crazy ish." Just another low IQ freaking black dude.
That's the guy with like the crazy ass takes, right? Or some shit. He be saying some crazy. He be saying some crazy shit, right? Holy shit. What the fuck? Don't watch, okay, bet. He got assassinated. Shit. Alright, chat. Hold on. That's the guy with like the crazy ass takes, right? Or some shit. He be saying some crazy. He be saying some crazy shit, right? Holy shit. What the fuck? Don't watch, okay, bet. He got assassinated. shit. Alright, chat.
Of course, the low IQs are going to come out of the woodwork, right? Of course. Okay, let's take a look. Yeah, we got that. Holly Harper. Hold on, let me take a look over here. Yes. Yep, Charlie's assassin is still at large. Shut the airports down. Yeah, all flights to Tel Aviv. I can't, dude. I can't. Look at these people. Look at these woke blacks. Tariq Nasheed, rest in power. These people. Charlie fist bumping George Floyd in heaven. I hate this, man. I do. I hate this. We'll see what the president does, though, man, because my guard is up, man. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody. All options on the table. Could this be like CIA, FBI? Could this be Mossad? Could this be a leftist psychopath? All the above. After hearing what Jack Hibbs just said, that is very interesting. Yeah, CNN is all over the place. CNN is all over the place with their reporting. I remember after I watched the verdict, the Rittenhouse verdict. I watched it with Charlie. We watched it together live on his show. I remember that day. Another thing I'm going to say, and listen, don't take this the wrong way, okay? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to diss Charlie. I'm being genuine, like genuine. And I told my wife this earlier, is like, listen, guys, like, Charlie is very, like, very awkward. He's a very awkward dude. Very, I don't know, you know, I don't know why, you know, people say I'm awkward, but, you know, Charlie was a very awkward dude. You know, very, very, very nerdy, like, in the way he would talk. And I'm speaking like not on camera, like just outside of everything. And just you know, it just, and that's why, like, when you guys would hear me like criticize Charlie, like, hey man, just when I would say, like, stop with the tough guy thing, you know, it doesn't come off right because it's not you. Maybe that was just me because, like, I know him, you know. I'm like, just someone needs to tell you to just don't do that, you know. But it's because that's just kind of how he is, you know, like working with him, talking to him, and you know, like just having conversations off air. But and like I said, I'm not dissing, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but what I'm about to say made sense. That's what made me sick, you know. That's what made me sick. Because, you know, Charlie, you know, talking with him and conversations and working with him, he just came off that way to me, you know? Like he just, I don't know how to explain it. Like, that's how he came off to me, like knowing him. Like, you're just Charlie, you know? You kind of, like, I don't know, you remind me of like a little brother. You're like 6 foot, like God knows what, but that's just kind of how I would view him. And when I saw that today, I'm just like, that's no, someone like that does not deserve that brutal execution, dude. That's what makes me sick. And from that perspective, you know, and I could totally see how people have no idea what I'm saying because you just know the Charlie on camera, you know, the Charlie on the speeches on the stage. Video is very different for me because I'm not watching that Charlie on the stage getting executed. I'm watching the Charlie I knew when the cameras were off, when the lights were off. That nerdy, awkward dude, you know. That's who I am watching getting executed, and it just horrifies me because someone that has been so built up to be like this white supremacist, domestic terrorist, threat to democracy, and when you like have like a non-political outside of all of this conversation with someone like Charlie, you're like, how and why are people saying this stuff? That's my point. And when I see this video, that's what really led me to tears because that's how I remember Charlie for me. You know, like as much as we don't agree on a lot, that's fine. I've told him we've talked about this stuff but you know, you never, you know, want someone to die, right? And so, I don't know if that makes sense, guys. It may not. And if it doesn't, I get it. Because maybe you just don't like clearly understand what I'm saying is like that. That's who I'm seeing getting shot in the neck and bleeding out and going limp and stiff in front of the whole world. Does that make sense? I kind of wish I never watched it, honestly. Like it's like in my brain. It's like seared in my brain now. I don't want to remember that.